me? Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir? I'll get drive-through.
Welcome to The Good, the Bat, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with special effects, visual, concept artists. He does it all, Eddie Yang. And it was so much fun talking to him about his start, how he grew up loving Rick Baker for his work at American Werewolf in London, and then ends up working for the legend for all those years, and so much more. And Eddie worked on this week's sequel, Batman Forever. Before I introduce you to my Robin in this sequel watching journey, I got to tell you, subscribe wherever you're listening. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And without further ado, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing, Robin?
I was doing good until you called me Robin. I see myself more as the Batman and you the Robin, but, you know, that's okay. I'm doing okay. How you doing? Yeah.
Well, I know most people are listening, but who is the one that dressed like Batman right now?
Well, Robin always wants to wear Batman's clothes, but, you know, there's only one Batman. Well, actually, in the old movies, there's actually about 4 Batmans or 3 Batmans. So, yeah.
Yeah, Batman Forever. I remember seeing this in the movie theater. Remember having the McDonald's glass, all 4 of them. And I just remember just following up, like I was 6 when Returns came out. And we talked about that one, legendary cast. I say this one goes like toe to toe with it. The people that they were able to get at the time, to me, is unbelievable.
Well, you know, I mean, if there was a role that was made for Jim Carrey, this was it. This is when he was like, I think at the peak of his career, he was starting to blow up. And to me, he makes this movie. I mean, this is why I liked it back in the past, because I love Jim Carrey, old Jim Carrey. Now, not so much, but back then he was the best. So, yeah, I agree. It goes toe to toe.
Awesome. And we cannot do this alone. It's our first sequel of 2022, which is going to be an epic year for us. And we're bringing back our guest. She was our bride for Bride of Reanimator. And of course, I'm talking about Shorror. Shorror, how are you?
This is Shorror. Okay, that was my best Batman impression.
That was
I'll practice. I'm good. Thank you guys for having me back. I love sequels so much. I love them.
But
I hate this Batman one. This is my least favorite of all the Batman things. So
whoa,
I'm on a trend here with these guys.
I had a feeling this was coming.
It's okay. Oof. You guys are going to be on one side of the court, and I'll be on the other, and we'll
That's good.
It out.
Well, I think we might be able to change your mind by the end.
I'm the bad guy.
Listen, every story needs a villain.
True that.
That is true.
We'll make it interesting.
Yeah, so some fun things before we get into this movie. When we get into the characters, we'll talk about some of the casting choices that almost happened. That one, like, blows my mind that they even consider it. But then thinking about it, I think he could be someone else. But first, Tim Burton was going to direct this movie, and then it fell through. And it was so weird that they've never seen this, and especially a big franchise like this that did so well. Like, Tim Burton, like, passed the reins over to Joel Schumacher, like in a cordial thing. He met with the screenwriters. They were able to work on the script and everything. But at the same time, that's where Michael Keaton fell out, because he really didn't want to do it without him.
Wow. Well, I mean, I did like Val Kilmer. I think he plays a very good Batman.
Yes.
He passed the torch to Val Kilmer. I'm surprised he only did one. Movie. Because again, he was also at the height of his career too. I mean, he was still.
Well, we'll talk about why.
Oh, okay, all right.
Did you do your homework, and a cool
Jamie? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why didn't you do your homework, Jamie?
Well, I spoke to my inside people, and they didn't have any stories on this one.
Oh, wow. A cool story is Val Kilmer. Obviously, Batman is like a role, right? Like if somebody called you right now and said, "Hey, you want to be Batman?" You're going to say yeah. Val Kilmer never even read the script. He was actually in a bat cave in Africa doing research for the movie Ghost in the Darkness, that hunting movie with Michael Douglas.
Yeah,
And
when they're hunting the lions.
role. Yeah, and he accepted the role without even reading the script.
Wait. Before he accepted this role, you mean?
This role, he got a phone call while he was researching the role there. They said, "Do you want to be Batman?"
Oh, wow. Well, I thought that, and I could be wrong, but he's been difficult on set for some roles, so maybe that has something to do with it. That's my guess.
Well, you're kind of right. Joel Schumacher did say that. He said Val Kilmer gave him the two greatest gifts in life. One was he accepted the role of Batman, and two, he made it easy to move on from him as Batman.
Wow.
Because he likes his portrayal. Like, he doesn't bash what he does. But there were just some stories on set. One was, maybe it was just the way Val was. Warren Buffett was on set for a day with like his kids, and they didn't even care about Val. They just cared about the guy that was in the suit. So he felt like anybody could really be in there, which isn't really true. We see that with Batfleck.
Sure.
Can't be anyone that's in that role, but
go watch George Clooney again. You know, I watched the trailers for Batman and Robin, and just in the trailer alone as Batman, you know, I feel like he's the only Batman that doesn't change his voice. So all you hear is Clooney's voice as Batman, and it just does not.
Oh
fit.
My God, that is true. I'm thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Shorror, do you want to hear some of the people that were actually in the running for Batman?
Let's do it.
Billy Baldwin, Daniel Day-Lewis, Kurt Russell, Alec Baldwin, Ethan Hawke, Ralph Fiennes, Tom Hanks, and Johnny Depp. Tom Hanks?
All right. So I'll tell you right now, I could see some of them and some of them not. I can actually, just because of his voice, and I could see Alec Baldwin.
Yes.
Doing it.
Yeah.
I can see, listen, Daniel Day-Lewis can play any role. He's probably one of the best actors of our generation. I mean, there isn't a bad movie that he made, so I can see him doing it also. Johnny Depp, no. Johnny Depp, absolutely not.
I think Alec Baldwin might have been like pissed because a few years after this, he did that weird superhero movie. Didn't he do a superhero movie? He was like invisible, like a few years after this.
What?
He did? Are you making that up?
I'm pretty sure he did a superhero movie like a few years after this. But yeah, so let's get Batty. Let's dive right in. So I loved the beginning of this movie because the fact that now it looks so corny and bad, but then that was like the coolest thing to see the 3D names like flying at the screen. But watching it looks so dated, just so old.
And it went on again a little too long. Like, I like movies that go right into like this, showing credits. Like later, half the credits were just words, and then half the credits were the driving of the bat, mobile. And so, I don't like watching movies where they just have credits on the screen because it just, you get bored and no one's really paying attention to those anyway.
Oh yeah.
So, but, before we even go any further in this, and I know I'm sure part of why Shorror doesn't like this movie is, compared to today's Batman, where it's more of an action, dark movie, all these old Batmans are very comic booky. That's what they were aiming for. So, they're going to be silly. They're going to be, goofy. And, that's the aim of what those movies were.
In my defense, I think 90s in general, for me, you guys have a nostalgia behind it. I was like waddling around town all the 90s. So it has like this weird cartoony vibe to it. But when I was watching this film, there's like a BDSM vibe. Like everything's leather or pleather and like dumb looking, where 80s was like, baggy, and then 20s or 2020 or whatever, I'm sorry, 2000s were more nude, Britney Spears vibe. But 90s are just like that weird. It's a transitional period that I'll probably appreciate later in life. I don't know.
We're going to maybe get you to appreciate it. No, I understand what you mean, the vibe, but exactly what Jamie was saying, like total comic booky. Obviously, the first two are comic booky, but a little dark. This, they went with the vibrant colors, the little bit of angle on all the shots. So you like felt like this different way. And the way they just framed everyone, even like Nicole Kidman, when you saw her for the first time, it was just like you felt like you were watching almost like Sin City-ish. You felt like you were watching a cartoon.
You do. And it's also, it really until the end, no one really dies in this movie. Even in the beginning when Batman comes around, like he actually saved one of the villains falling off the building. So, that's part of the comic booky, look to it, where now you watch the ones today and they're like, it's full of violence and death. Yeah. So I just think it's this, they were aiming for Tim Burton, obviously started this and he's all about comic book, like cartoony kind of stuff. So I think they were just following that trend.
I didn't even think about that. The deaths, like that there was no deaths. I'm sure this movie was obviously probably rated PG
13.
13. So that's why they did that, to get away with that.
Yeah. I noticed because I looked up the reviews online and it has like a 38 on Rotten Tomatoes and like a 5 on IMDb. But are those ratings based off of 2020 reviews, or I don't know?
Well, I don't know if Rotten Tomatoes was around back then, but I think IMDb is like like ratings by users. I guess 38% of Rotten Tomatoes could be like critics. They take the old critic scores from back then, but a lot of movies that are good, not a lot of movies that are good, but I feel like movies like this get compared. I think that's why we love sequels, because somebody will be like, oh man, this isn't Batman Returns, but it isn't Batman Returns. It's totally like a totally different vibe. And Schumacher was like, I don't want to do what Burton did. I want to do something totally different. So I commend him for trying it. There are silly things, like the first lines in the movie are Alfred saying, can I persuade you to take a sandwich? And he goes, I'll use drive-through. And it's like, McDonald's ad.
Yeah, that was Batman's first words. I mean, first of all, this movie does kick off right away. It jumps right into the story. I did like the beginning of, looked like I was watching Commando, Batman suiting up with all his weapons and everything, like showing, and it jumps right into the movie. But yes, for Batman's first line to be that, I was like, eesh.
And to see his butt. Why'd they have to zoom in on his butt to show that he has butt pads?
Well, in Batman and Robin, the big joke is that Batman has nipples.
Yeah, bat nipples. No, I know nipples. That.
Well, maybe
it was so weird. Arm, chest, butt.
Because they had him move. They went from butt in this movie to nipples in the third one. The fourth one. What is?
The next one, they wanted to use crotch, but that movie got cut. They didn't want to do it. They were like, no way. And then Tommy Lee Jones. He's the only person in this cast that was the first choice.
Okay, so I do like this movie, but I do have a gripe about Tommy Lee Jones, and I love Tommy Lee Jones. I think he's great, and I think he could have played this role great. However, I got a whole Joker vibe from him in this role. Like, he played Two-Face like a Joker. Like, he had his crew of minions, which the Joker has like that, and he's laughing throughout the whole movie, and he was just acting insane. Like, I feel like, the whole point of Two-Face is that he's got this split personality, right? He's got the good guy struggling with the bad guy. Here, it was just the nutcase the entire movie. So I feel like he played the character all wrong. And that's, because I think he could have played it really well.
He probably also didn't read the script like Val Kilmer. Maybe? I don't know.
Possible.
Well, but he didn't. I'm sure he did read the script. Joel Schumacher worked with him on The Client. But his son was a huge Batman fan, 11 years old, and said, you got to do that. So even when you watch like the behind the scenes, he did it because his son loved Two-Face.
So he didn't really want to be in the movie.
I don't know if he didn't want to. I'm sure the check cleared. I'm sure the check was pretty good. No, but I agree. He should have been more like, because he has the acting chops to do it, to play 100%. Serious, then crazy. Yeah. He's just crazy the whole
entire
time.
Movie. And he's giggling. So it's like he very much had a Joker vibe to him. And he played it like, if he was a Joker with different makeup, The same character he played would have fit with the Joker.
100%. 100%.
What I did like though, I was happy they didn't do like a backstory. Like he was already they didn't show how he became Harvey, like the Two-Face, that he was already crazy villain attacking Batman within the first 5 minutes. They didn't waste any time.
They actually had an intro of him and they didn't show his origin story. Well, they show his origin story on GNN.
Briefly.
Gotham News Network.
Yeah.
But no, they actually cut it out. They were going to have an opening scene where he broke out of Arkham, but they weren't going to have like the origin story of it. But
okay.
One question I have, he gets burned on the face, right? I love that Batman sitting in court in full Batman gear. Like the guy that's the court artist, is he drawing that like the crying defendant and then Batman sitting behind him, like a really weird looking Batman? Because some of those drawings aren't good.
Well, if you notice, no one changes their clothes. Like Gordon, when they went to the circus, he's still wearing his full uniform with his hat and everything else. So like, I feel like just throughout town, they're like, if Batman's going food shopping, he's wearing his, suit. And do you like watching this movie? I'm thinking like, all right, he's doing a lot of action and running around and stuff. How much do you think he's sweating in that suit, and how much does he smell? Like I bet you he smells so bad, right?
He probably does.
It's leather, right? Isn't it leather? What is it? Leather? It's got to be some kind of leather.
He's got to have like doctor prescribed deodorant in there, like really expensive stuff, like the good stuff.
And the other question I had is, how heavy is that suit? Because between all the gadgets that comes out of that suit, it's got to be pretty heavy.
He lost 5 pounds. Like the real suit was heavy. He lost 5 pounds in like filming that first fight sequence. And then Robin's suit at the end of the movie is 41 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I know.
Why?
I read that Robin's eye mask was glued onto his face with the paint. So he was saying that itself was hot, and that's just the
oh my goodness,
the upper part of his face. So yeah.
So we get Batman flying in. We see Nicole Kidman as Dr. Chase Meridian. Her first line is "hot entrance." So that role was made. It's not from the comics. It was written in there just so Batman can go to his deep dark, his origin story even more. And Rene Russo was actually going to play it when Michael Keaton was still on. But as soon as that happened, they axed her because they wanted somebody younger. And Nicole Kidman is so young. I can't believe she was only 19 in the Sam Neill, the boat movie. I can't think.
Dead Calm.
Dead Calm. She was 19.
Yeah, she was young. Oh, yeah, she was young in that movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
How old is she in this movie?
26. She's 26 in this movie.
Wow. Was she with Tom Cruise at this time or no? Had to be close around this time,
Add the
right?
Jeopardy music.
No, you know what? I think so.
Had to be because they made that movie Far and Away.
Yeah, and then a few years out. Yeah. No, it must be. They must be together by then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then were you laughing when the first line that she says to him, like later, she says, "Do you have a first name, or should I just call you Bats?"
Batty. Well, there's the same thing happens to Two-Face later on. One of his henchmen goes, "Hey, Face," or something like that. Yeah. That's his name. Like, it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, he starts, "Hey, Face."
Yeah,
and he's not paying attention. He's just laughing. "Hey, Face."
Yeah, but yeah, Nicole Kidman is hitting on him right away.
Oh,
like does not waste any time.
She wants whatever's under his utility belt.
But what if like now? So she's never seen his face. So what if like he's like totally scarred underneath with like acne and like warts all over the place? Like you think it's just the outfit, or like can you really?
She explains later that she what drives a man to be like this, and she's a clinical psychologist, if I'm correct.
So it's more like. It's more about the man behind the mind behind the Batman,
drive behind
or the man behind the mask.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now here's my other question. As I'm looking at Doug wearing a Batman mask, I could clearly tell it's you. So how do people, when Batman takes his mask off, can't see that it's Bruce Wayne?
I know. I can understand if Batman was some schlub that worked like in a warehouse, like
right.
But the fact that his face is everywhere. If I did something dumb in high school, I would like put my head down. When I did bad stuff in high school, I would put my head down. He's putting his face on every magazine, billboards.
Okay.
And in reality, it's only his nose that's being covered. I mean, you can see his eyes, his mouth, his cheeks, his chin. So, I mean, but then again, if you can't tell Clark Kent because he's wearing glasses, I guess this is a little better than that.
Can we just pretend Elon Musk is running around in a Batman? No one knows.
You know what? He would be a good Bruce Wayne. I think he's the real life Bruce Wayne.
Well, he should dress up as Batman. That would be very, very, very good marketing.
It would.
So then we get more Bat gadgets in this one. Like the first one we see is he has like the one that, again, like Jamie said, doesn't kill anybody, really. He has like a gadget that just electrocutes. It's almost like Wonder Woman's lasso, sort of, because it just keeps electrocuting around the body.
And I mean, and he lets all these gadgets go in the midst of like battle. Like, how does he know which one's going to come out when he's doing it? Because I mean, he's got so many. Like, I just find like, what if he does one by accident, like the wrong one? Like the maybe, like he has one with like the punching, like the glove that like what's his name had in Goonies.
Yeah.
Do you think it was just because practical effects were pretty heavy, like in that time frame where they just wanted to show off they could do it, but it really had no practical effect on anybody?
I'm sure they probably like, hey, there's this new thing that they just did, because you had to think this is like when it's starting. Like when I was talking to Eddie, this is like that transition from practical to computers. So they were probably like, oh my God, we can make it look like he's being electrocuted over and over again with computers. So they're probably like, why not try it? That guy had to like shake forever. He was doing it. And then, like Jamie said, he saved a guy and threw him into him, and they shook on top of each other.
Well, yeah, you know what? He didn't have any of that like special effects stuff in Batman Returns. So yeah, I would say they probably would like, let's up our game a little bit, But I would also think it's dangerous because if someone has a heart problem and he uses that, he may end up killing him.
He could kill them, yeah. No, in Batman Returns, the only thing he had the grappling gun that he missed the guy's head and then pulled the brick out and knocked him out. So he had to go old school. So this is a totally new school Batman. And to talk about Tommy Lee Jones, obviously acting like Joker, but didn't it seem, this reminded me of, Out for Justice, the guy from Out for Justice, Dick Tracy, the guy who introduced so bad. Those roles he played back to back.
Forsythe.
Yeah, William Forsythe in Out for Justice, and then when he was done with that, he walked onto the set of Stone Cold. Dude, just like this, I know he didn't film Under Siege the day before, but dude, he is crazy. Like Tommy Lee Jones is just like he is in Under Siege. Like he's just yelling the whole time. He's absolutely batshit crazy. Every line.
Bat shit? Are you?
I'm Batman. I have to.
So you got to throw the word bat in there a few times. Okay, maybe you are. Maybe you are Batman. All right. No, he plays crazy great. He plays a great crazy guy.
You're counting on the winged Avenger to deliver you from evil, aren't you, my friend?
Are you gonna kill me?
Maybe, maybe not. You could say we're of two minds on the subject. You're a gambling man.
But he again, I could like he played. I think he played this role too crazy, if that's possible. And then I think that's the problem.
No, exactly.
See, so Jim Carrey played his role crazy, but it fit perfectly. Like it was just, I feel like Jim Carrey was as if he was doing a sketch in Living Color, and he was just going the whole time as the character.
He was insane, and they were able to let him like play on set, and Schumacher was like great with input with the costumes and everything, but Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey hated each other.
That I did know. My insider did tell me about that one.
Oh, he did? Okay, great.
No, it's not so much that Jim Carrey hated Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones hated Jim Carrey. He didn't find him funny. He didn't understand his humor. And Jim Carrey, if you watch any of his other movies, that a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, he's always playing jokes. He's always in character. He's always like, just being a wise guy and talking out of his ass and all that kind of stuff. And Tommy Lee Jones just did not want to be any part of it.
I don't know if this is a story from Jim Carrey or someone else, but here's how it went. He goes, hey, according to Carrey, one day he walked up and he said, hey, Tommy, how are you doing? Jones instantly turned white and started shaking. Then he got up and hugged Carrey, saying, I hate you. I really don't like you. When Carrey asked why he was doing it, Jones responded, I cannot sanction your buffoonery.
That's what I heard. So
that's why, like, you were right earlier, Jamie. I mean, I do agree with you that he wasn't the best pick for Two-Face. I don't know. I mean, he can't even have fun with the actor who does a decent job. Although I totally think it's an Ace Ventura ripoff, but. Yes.
It's a Jim Carrey ripoff. I mean, like like I said, he put a lot of his characters into
all
this
of
role. All of them. Yeah, you could tell. Like this is his mannerisms, the way he's yelling, and all that stuff. Don't forget. Again, he was young at this time. I don't know how old he was, but he blew up. Like he probably was one of the biggest box office hits, person in Hollywood at this point. So Tom Lee Jones is an established actor who's been around a long time. He's older. I mean, imagine like it's like a grandfather like looking at the teenage grandson doing stupid crap. He's like, he doesn't have time for it. He doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think that the fact that he used the word buffoonery. I mean,
I heard Michael Jackson was supposed to play the Riddler. Did you guys hear that? Or he auditioned?
Well, he lobbied for it. He wanted to do it, but that didn't happen.
Can you imagine? Tommy Lee Jones would be like, Michael, you're amazing.
That would have been horrible.
Because Tommy Lee Jones would have been the star.
You know what? Maybe that was part of it also, is that Jim Carrey stole the thunder of Tommy Lee Jones' character, because you see his character right from the beginning. So you think he's the main villain, but once Jim Carrey comes on set, he took over, so that was probably a big part of it.
Even when he is just Edward Enigma later in the movie, when he's like all dapper and Two-Face shows up, even his lines then as like a normal citizen of Gotham kind of like steal the scene. You're like, man, I understand how he probably felt. And Jim Carrey was so huge. He came off 4 monster movies in one,
Yeah. You mean when he was Edward later on, when he had a different hairstyle, different hair length, and different hair color?
Oh, I know. We're going to get into, we're going to figure out the time that happened in this. But let's get back to the opening scene. So there's like the bank robbery. We'll try to get through this because there's so much to unpack. But so anyway, Batman gets tricked to go into the vault to save, I didn't write down the guy's name, but big time character actor, the guy that plays the bank guard. He's in a million things.
Yeah, but I hated him.
The bank guard?
He was so over the top in everything he said. Like literally, like it looked like he was like auditioning for a play. Like he was just so over every line he said was so like out. Like I didn't like him at all. Horrible.
What if he didn't have, so the Two-Face tricks him, closes the bank vault, pulls it out. Somehow it pulls out like that. And it's dangling from a helicopter, which is pretty phenomenal, I think. But inside, all the safety deposit boxes have acid that are triggered to open at the same. I'm like, what's happening? Why don't the bad guys just blow them up the right way or do something? But no. And then what if the bank guard didn't have a hearing problem? Like, how would he have gotten out?
And the fact that he's annoyed that Batman took it from him. He goes, hey, that's my hearing aid. And you're right. I'm not sure helicopter, because I have to assume that safe weighs a ton. Like there's no way a helicopter's lifting that up.
No. Do you mean ton as like the phrase, or it weighs an actual ton?
I'm going to say more than a ton.
I would think so too. Yeah.
Although I'm not a math expert, so I don't know how much a ton really is.
There's any bank vault experts, sequels only on Twitter. No, but the thing that was really funny, this is like going back to his belt and all these gadgets, like Shorror was saying, they're just trying to use all these different things. When he gets out of it, he has a bat blowtorch. He has a silly one later in the movie that we'll talk about, but he has so many things that he's using that, I don't know, does Batman really use?
He's literally the kid from Goonies. Like he has something for every, and somehow like it's never gets in the way. Like when he's fighting and everything else, like you would think like this stuff would be jiggling in his pocket or whatever, like moving around, like nothing. He's able to pull everything out right when he can. And if you look at his bat suit, there's no pockets or anything. So where is he keeping it? Like where does he keep everything?
Well, it's on his utility belt, his yellow belt.
I guess. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, the utility belt.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
And of course, he saves the day. He perfectly shoots the grappling hook, and it feeds he knows that he must know math pretty well because he's able to aim in the right spot that the vault goes right into the hole that's already in the wall perfectly.
That's perfectly. Yeah. And that was this is the first like 7 minutes of the movie.
This is the first 7 minutes of the movie. Yeah. And this is like when they're in the helicopter, they're thinking they're getting away. Batman hooks on. He's on the bottom of the helicopter. And then that's when it's like, hey, face. And then Batman's on the front of it. And
why is Batman hanging on there? Doesn't he have another grappling hook that he can just swing out of there?
He should have another gadget. Maybe a glass cutter that he can cut the glass.
Something, or not for nothing. He glides everywhere. He jumps off buildings. Why can't he just jump off the helicopter? Like, why is he hanging on?
I don't get that either. He should have
easily could have dropped.
Right?
No, he could drop. He drops through windows in like a ceiling, sun ceiling. The sunlight ceiling, whatever.
Yeah.
What is it called? Yeah. So why can't he just drop from the helicopter?
I don't know why he didn't do that, but the fact that he like lets himself go into
the Statue of Liberty. Yeah. The amount of damage that Batman does in this movie is huge. Huge. I mean, how do you replace the Statue of Liberty?
Hey, France, remember that thing you got us? Do you have like another one laying around? Oh, no, we didn't break it or anything. We just wanted another one. We wanted to give one to Arizona. They need one.
Yeesh.
And what about the news calling him Harvey Two-Face? The news was like Harvey Two-Face damaged the Statue of Liberty last night. That's not his last name.
Well, I mean, maybe they're just throwing it out there because they know Harvey was a good guy and now he's just a villain, so they want to just like mock it.
Oh, maybe.
What do you expect them to call him? Harvey Dent? Like, it's not because he's no longer Harvey Dent.
Nobody immediately has like chicas at his den.
Well, he is a villain. They all villains always have the girls around.
But he had like an angel and a devil, the sugar and spice.
He does.
Anyway, it seemed very, very efficient.
Oh, very. And he also has a massive villain lair, which how's no one ever found it, and how did he ever build that?
I found that to be the most comic-y, by the way. His lair.
Oh, his
with
lair.
The dead center angel devil aspect.
Well, how about the cameos for the two girls?
Well, the one wasn't a cameo. Well, Drew Barrymore's a cameo because she's big, but Debbie Mazir, she was not in much.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what she was in. But by the way, one of the henchmen for Harvey Dent when they were doing the bank robbery, John Favreau.
No, that's not true.
It is true.
He worked for Bruce in The Office.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I meant. When he walks in.
Oh, you better fire that Hollywood insider. He's out of here. But this is what we're going to talk about. So, Two-Face gets burned on his face. Okay, he's
right.
Harvey Two-Face.
Half his face.
Half his face. Yeah, half his face.
Yeah
but okay. He wears the suit all the way down. Why does it go down there? Like he has a girl for that side and the other side? Like why?
What do you expect him to wear? Two different suits?
No.
A half a different on top and bottom?
Oh, you're saying because he's wearing a split suit?
He's wearing a split suit, split apartment, split girls.
Well, because everything has to be 50. Yeah, everything is 50-50. So why? That's just how he. In his mind, he's like a schizophrenic. So he's got, or no, that's not schizophrenic. What is it?
Split
Bipolar.
You have
personality.
the
I guess?
split personality. So he's got a
Bipolar,
split
yeah.
personality. I don't know about bipolar. I would say more, right? Bipolar is not split
Well,
personality.
two polar. That's
Well,
two.
Okay.
I think it's because half the brain, right? He said half of him is good and bad. Where
Right.
if you go upper body, lower body, I mean, you still have. If you do male logic,
I think when they have Harvey Dent in the newer Batmans, doesn't he kind of conflict? Like, doesn't he kind of argue with himself? Like the one side.
Well, that's what it should be. Yeah.
Right. That's what I mean. So that's probably why. So he has the two sides to him, one wants to dress nice, one wants to dress like a villain, one, I don't know.
I like Drew Barrymore more. I want to say it now. I want to
Oh,
get that on the
definitely.
record early.
Definitely.
But I have to say, so Debbie's like only other role that I remember. She is the girlfriend of Mike Myers' brother in So I Married an Axe Murderer. She's like barely in that movie, but she's in that movie.
Goodfellas, right?
Is she in Goodfellas?
Is that the
Oh, I don't
one with Ray Liotta? Or am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. She plays the cocaine prepper.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Look at that.
Like his little extra.
Well,
love
Drew
interest on
Barrymore
top
is
of-
pretty big here. So it was such a small role. I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
Well, no, this is when she's making her comeback, sort of. Early 90s, Scream came out. She got back after Scream came out in 96.
Yeah, but she's still a big name. I mean, for a very small role, she made tons of movies before this. So,
But if you look just before these years, this is when she had that lull. Maybe like with Robert Downey Jr., maybe people didn't want to touch her. She had a rough life.
When she was younger, she had a rough life.
Yeah. She's still young here.
No.
How old do you think she is here? She's like 20.
She's got to be
21 probably.
20 something, but she was an alcoholic when she was like 13, like 8, I think, or 13 or something like that. Like she was horrible.
Did you say
Crazy.
8 and then changed it to 13?
Well, no, she really was. Like
Aw.
There's
she was-
something with, I think she did coke at like 9 years old because
Yeah,
she
she
was,
was-
hanging, all of her friends were all those other kids like River Phoenix and all those
Well,
kids that were
her
like,
her family's famous in Hollywood, so she was always around. So no, she literally was like an alcoholic when she was by the time she was like 13.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
no, she had it rough. That's why
that
she doesn't
makes
drink now.
sense.
She's against violence. Like that's why, like Charlie's Angels, they weren't allowed to use guns. Like they that was part of it. Like she's all against, like very like straight and narrow now.
Can I lighten up the mood? Because earlier, Doug had mentioned the 11-year-old child of Shoemaker. Did you know that Leonardo DiCaprio was the other person to play Robin? Yes, no? Did you read that?
he was,
Well-
you mean they wanted him, right?
It was between him and O'Donnell, and they took a poll to a convention with 11-year-old boys.
Whoa, I
and
didn't see that one. Look at
O'Donnell
that. Somebody's got the new
outpolled
insider.
Leo, and that's why O'Donnell was Robin.
Well,
Because
Chris
he-
O'Donnell was pretty big back then. I think
He had a big
was,
movie that came out the year before. That's why Schumacher liked him.
right? So he was in a school movie, right? Wasn't that one of the
He was in School Ties. Yeah.
School Ties? He was in a bunch of it, but so I don't know if I don't know if DiCaprio made too many movies before.
Let me
like,
clarify. It was who would win in a hand wrestle, and O'Donnell won.
Hand wrestle?
Wait, that's how he got the
Arm
role? 'Cause he-
wrestle. I'm sorry. Whatever it's called. Yeah, I will. You guys can fact check me. Like,
I believe you.
God, I hope someone didn't just post this online, but I did some research, and that was how O'Donnell got.
All right, I'll talk to my insider about that one.
So,
Okay.
so here's some other people that were considered too. This is just like a list. I'm sure some executive wrote a bunch of names, but
For Robin?
Mark Wahlberg, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jude Law, Ewan McGregor, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, Scott Speedman. Could you imagine if Corey Feldman was Robin?
Oh
I
my
would just
goodness.
think it's Donatello. I would like hear Donatello's.
I probably could see Corey Haim. Yeah, even though they came up together, Corey Haim was the better of the Corys back then. I think,
Wow.
like in comedies, like
We
Corey
lost
Feldman.
all the Corey Feldman fans.
Oh, I'm a Corey Feldman fan too, but he was more in the serious roles where Corey Haim was like, License to Drive and, all those movies. I can see Corey Haim in this role. Corey Feldman, not so much.
There was a rumor that Christian Bale was auditioning for Robin, but he shut that down quick and said he never ever would.
Well, he knew he was going to be Batman later on. So he's like, if I'm Robin now, I'll never be able to be Batman.
Yeah,
So
and I'll say it. I think Leo dodged a bullet. So
Did Chris O'Donnell do anything after? I mean, besides Batman and Robin?
Oh yeah, he did Vertical Horizon.
Oh, it's right. Okay,
cool movie. That was a pretty cool movie. But yeah, no, not. And then he like went to TV. Like he did movies like more like romance movies. Like he had the one when a million girls were trying to marry him because I think he was the heir of some fortune or something. I never saw it. I just
23 million, according to what the internet.
Well, we know the internet's always right.
So then we get the first time we see Edward Enigma, and Jim Carrey, amazing. So this will be like the last of the behind the scenes stuff. So we don't want to do too much of it, but this one's wild. So Tim Burton, when he was still slated to direct the film, Mickey Dolenz. Do you know who Mickey Dolenz is?
Of course.
Okay. He was considered to play the Riddler.
Ugh. And
then listen to this story. I never knew the story before, but after Burton dropped out, Robin Williams was offered the role by Warner Brothers, but refused because he was still bitter about being used as bait to convince Jack Nicholson to sign on for Batman.
Wow. Okay. So two things. One, they probably wanted Mickey Dolenz because, don't forget, he was in the show The Monkees. There was a silly kind of show. So maybe they figured, all right, maybe, he's got the funny chops. It would have failed miserably. I don't think he would have been good. But Robin Williams, I could see. Listen, Jim Carrey is like a Robin Williams reincarnated. Like the way he portrays himself. If you ever watch any interviews that Robin Williams does, Jim Carrey's the same way. Like you never know which way it's going to go. They're just all over the place. So I could see Rob Williams in a role, but he was probably too old then, right?
No. He could have played it, I'm sure. No, he wasn't that old then.
Well, okay. So I'm trying to figure out how old Robin's supposed to be in this movie because, I know we're not there yet, but there's a part where like I'll wait till you get there. Never mind.
Yeah. I know what you're going to talk about. So we'll get to it. So then we'll just go through this part. So Edward Enigma has like this technology when Bruce Wayne shows up and it's like VR. It's VR 1995. He wants to basically tell him that. And Ed Begley, the legendary guy, so I love Ed Begley in this movie, plays the boss. And dude, he's a dick. Edward's a dick. Bruce goes, okay, call my assistant. Here's her number. We'll set up a time. He goes, I need an answer now. And I'm like, whoa, dude.
He goes, that's not going to work for me. He goes, that's like, who are you? Like he was literally about to get fired or is going to be getting fired by Ed Begley because he wasn't supposed to talk to him about it. And you're going to demand yeah. So no, he was a jerk, but listen, he's a complete loser. They show him as like a loser. So like he probably has no friends and this is probably his only hope to get out of this status of being a loser.
Can you imagine having a job that you could just work on anything? Because it seems like Ed Begley's been telling him for weeks, do something. And he's working on this thing that looks like a blender with just like green slime in it.
100% was a blender on his head. But so that was one of the questions I had was, what is his job? Like, what is he?
He's a scientist. He's probably a research.
Yeah, but that didn't look like a science lab.
It didn't. No, it didn't. It looked like more like a call center. It looked like a sales room, but no.
Like a neuroscientist, right?
But nothing said science in that room outside of his like gadgets. Like, is he an inventor? Like, are they like inventors?
Yeah, like he's probably R&D, like research and development. But the fact that he wants to like manipulate brainwaves and he's using all this jargon, and Bruce is like, "Yeah, I don't think that's right." And then that's when he walked out because he saw the bat signal.
Okay, all right.
Let me Google what year computers came out because I think this was in the middle of all the chaos of.
No, computers are definitely out by then.
But I think that's why he was talking about, like creating these brainwave yada yada yada, but it was still, to my knowledge, they were still pretty amateur. Where it was like this discovery, and I felt like that was what the film almost was. I don't know, like alluding to the future of. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, what was he trying to do with his invention? Like, what was his goal?
Was it to manipulate and take people's? Was he already thinking evil aspirations? Because he did that in the next scene.
Yeah, but the way he was selling, he did it purposely in the next scene because he was angry. But like, what's his gadget for? Like
virtual reality.
No, I know, but what's his goal? Like, is it just virtual reality? Like, what was his obviously he's tapping into the minds of people. So what is he trying to gain from that on a business perspective? I didn't understand that.
I think he was using that. It was a device that you'd be able to see someone's fantasy and people could live the fantasy. So he wanted to be like the future of TV, satellite or whatever. But then he figured out how to obviously manipulate it later on. But did you I saw your face when I mentioned he sees the bat signal. You didn't like when he went into his office?
Okay. Well, no. Well, my question with the bat signal is anyone allowed to use it whenever they want?
Oh, I don't think so. She's new in town.
I thought but she was able to do it. So when that happened, I was like, so can anyone at any time, if you lose your keys, can you use the bat signals? Hey, Batman, help me find my keys. Because she should not have access to it. Like, I would think only the police have access to it. That's what I thought. Okay.
No, that's what it should be. But I'm happy that it happened. And I can't believe Kiss from a Rose does not appear in this movie. Even in the background, even just maybe the instrumental of it. Because that was a scene in the music video. Like that whole.
Of course. When does it come out? Is it at the credits at the end of the movie?
No, not at all. It's just the music video. Like back in the day, they'd have many songs.
I'm talking about in this movie. Does the song play at all?
It doesn't play at all.
That's crazy because this song was huge when it came out.
Classic song. Yeah. But we get, Nicole Kidman. Oh my gosh. The fact that she's waiting for him. And again, she's met him once. Maybe she's seen him before on the news. Well, we know she's seen him before because she has every newspaper and every photo of him imaginable. But she's all up all over him in seconds. And he goes, one of his first lines to her, he goes, "Are you trying to get under my cape, doctor?"
Yeah. Now, I need to go back to this bat signal again. So, wouldn't you think it would be under lock and key also? Because then a villain can use it to set up Batman and trick him. Yeah. So, how is she able to get up there and use it? Because Gordon comes up. Why didn't
Two-Face do that? Why couldn't Two-Face or Riddler do that? Do the signal. He shows up. Push him off.
They probably assumed that it was under lock and key and that they couldn't do it. She just figured, let me give it a shot and wow, it opened.
Oh my God, it worked. Somebody forgot to lock it. Commissioner Gordon had a hot date.
Because Gordon does get up there. He walks up there afterwards.
In a robe. He's in his robe. Does he live there?
He lives in a station.
But she's all over him. She goes, "Oh yeah, I'll bring the wine," and then pulls. She has a slip on, and then she says, "Am I not your type? I'm not in skin tight leather and carry a whip." Cool little reference to Catwoman.
Yep.
She's done her research.
How does she know that he was dating or he was hooking up with Catwoman?
Probably a newspaper. Maybe paparazzi saw a photo of them on top of the roof. Kissing. I don't know.
All right, because that wasn't really public. That was all on top of a roof when it happened. Right? When they hooked up, they were in the Penguin's cave and on a roof. So I don't think anyone saw.
TMZ, man, they're everywhere. They're in stalls.
They are everywhere. That's true.
They're everywhere. But then this is where she reveals a little tidbit that I really hated at the end of the movie because you knew that it was happening because it came out of nowhere because she talked about, he goes, "I have more important things to worry about, like Two-Face." And she goes, "I can tell you about Two-Face, the coin, everything matters with him is the coin." And I'm like, all right. Yeah. I think, and then Batman even says "I know that already." I'm like,
yeah, but why would she know that? Okay. Well, no reason. She knows you can use the bat signal anytime you want. So apparently she knows everything about Gotham.
But she didn't know Commissioner Gordon sleeps at his desk guarding it. But could you imagine if that was your Achilles here? You're a villain. Some villains have, things that they can't deal with or Indiana Jones, he's not a villain, but snakes. Two-Face, coins. Like, if another coin comes near his coin, he gets confused.
So, okay, so if you were smart, if you're a smart villain, why wouldn't he just get like a double-sided coin? And you're always going to get what you want.
Yeah. Jerry rig one of those yarmulke. It's not yarmulke. I'm so sorry. What are they called? Guild?
Guild?
The chocolate coins where you buy them on the holidays. Yes. Solutions. But
if he had a double-sided coin, all his problems are solved. He'll never get defeated.
Yeah, especially that he doesn't act like the other side of the coin. It's not like he flips one way and he acts different until he flips the other way.
No, he does, because there's one point he's like, oh, like when he was supposed to kill someone. But I feel like every time he doesn't get the side he wants, he keeps flipping anyway afterwards.
It's so stupid. We'll talk about like, that's one thing that like the fans, like the nerds of the comic book fans hate it.
Oh, I'm
that
sure.
That part of it.
I'm sure.
But so then just to go through the next part pretty quick is Ed Begley. He goes back into the office. He catches, Edward Enigma working on his contraption still. And Enigma, what did I tell you? You're fired. And he goes, no. And he slams the thing onto his head, puts him into the seat. And his vision, like his dream, is fishing.
See, I was confused about this. So is that what he's seeing, or is that what was supposed to come out from the, like when that happened, I was like, why are there fish coming out? Like, it just made no sense.
That's his fantasy. That's what he wants.
Is it fantasy, or is it what's in your head?
I think it's what's in your head or what you're thinking about. Just like later when Bruce gets connected, we see a bat.
All right. So they could have went like a funny way with this. They could have put something in there, like throw a clown in there or something, or just something like something so silly. Like that would have been funny. Like a fish, like really like just, it was kind of blah.
Does he like fishing? That's what I thought.
Fishing, yeah.
Or like stockings, like something like weird, like what? Stilettos, stockings,
And he's just prancing around. Ed Begley would have been down for that, easy. And we get our first riddle me this, and then he goes, "What are you doing, Enigma?" And then when he puts it on, he goes, "I'm sucking up your IQ, feeding my brain."
Okay, so what does this machine do for him? It just makes him smarter. It pulls like the brain cells. So the rest of the movie with him, I'm very confused on what his power is of what he's absorbing. Because he comes across super smart. So is he getting just their knowledge? Is that what's like coming out? Like I get confused.
Is it like
later on,
he like Bradley Cooper? Is he getting like
that's what I mean? Like
when he's taking the pill.
Yeah.
Is it like that? I don't know.
That's how it's coming across. But later on in the movie, he's doing a lot of other stuff with that. So like I don't know what it's doing. Like they don't really explain.
And he's very sophisticated. More brainwaves. You change your outfits. You get like sparkly.
Well, it changes your hair color. And it changes your hairstyle. So it does that. But so would you want to have the power of being able to, everyone you talk to, you can see their fantasy?
No.
Like, wouldn't that like be like kind of gross and creepy? Because how can you talk to someone seriously after you see what's inside their head?
Yeah. It's like that Twilight Zone with the guy from Bewitched, and he flips the coin and it lands straight, and he can hear people's thoughts. And he like thinks everybody's like, he hears people talking bad about him. No, I couldn't imagine like hearing what people say.
Oh, Mel Gibson made that movie too. What Woman Want?
Oh, What Woman Want? Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Big fan of that movie?
No, I never saw it.
Oh. So then he pushes Ed Begley out the window. He's hanging by just the thing. And this is where I think they messed up on the line. It says, "Fred, you're the one who was fired." Or should I say, terminated? Shouldn't he have said, or should I say, let go?
Ooh, that would have been good.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good one.
Thank you. I'm reading your minds right now. And you guys are like, wow, what a great guy. Wow. So smart.
Why would you want to be in our heads?
What's
the advantage?
No, I just thought that line, and I was I like heard it while he was like talking. I'm like, wait, why would he say terminate it?
Okay, it's so easy to be the Monday morning quarterback. Or
That's what I am.
That's. I'm sure at the time they're like, you know what? This is gonna be great. Jim Carrey's gonna say you're fired after he says you're fired. Perfect line. It's awesome, and they're all excited for it. Now they're like, 20 years later, we could have had a better line, and it would have changed the whole outcome of the movie. Oh.
I would have been in the back of the boardroom, feet up on the desk. What was I, 9 years old? Cigar in my mouth. I would have been like, should say, let go. That was 9. But I do. So here's a question I have too. So what we saw with Ed Begley, all of that happened, right?
Yes.
Why the video footage that we see?
I know.
How do you manipulate that?
Oh, he's a genius now.
After sucking one guy's brain that cares about fishing?
Well, did they actually show someone jumping out the window, or the video just showed him running towards the window? Like, was it?
No, it was running towards the window.
Right. Okay, so they didn't show the actual jumping, so maybe that was him in his suit. I don't know.
Maybe.
Again, he's a genius now.
And he broke the window and everything. So it's like the window, first time it was broken.
So how did he repair it and then film that scene?
Oh, what about the chair? Where'd the chair go? Did the chair fall with him? So you're telling me that Edward Enigma had time to manipulate the footage, run down there, not only of everybody's probably screaming and yelling about this dead body that just landed on a New York City cab, and he picked up the chair and threw it in a dumpster?
Yeah, well, again, not even that. The windows clearly put back together when they show that video.
Yeah.
So that's like yeah. A lot of questions.
That is
and I like how he's saying, and the handwriting is exactly the way. And it looked like he wrote it with his left hand, as a right.
That's great. And then we get Edward the first time. He's then Bruce is there. He's looking at the footage, and he gets his first riddle at his desk.
Oh,
I think it was a tennis one. You find me on a tennis court?
No, the clock. The first one was a clock.
Oh, the clock. Yes,
the clock. No, but back to the letter. I remember with Gordon, because Gordon really is an idiot. Like he's kind of like, I don't think he does anything in any of these movies, but like when he starts reading the letter basically just says like, yes, goodbye world, I'm committing suicide. And then Gordon goes, yep, definitely suicide. He put it all together.
In seconds. I figured it out. But Bruce is a good guy. How about when he's walking in the hallway just before he gets that riddle? He goes, I want to make sure I pay the benefits to his family, to Fred's family. And she goes, well, Bruce, you don't have to do that. He goes, but I do want to do that. I'm like, wow, they added this in to show how much of a caring guy he is. And then we get, like you said, to show that Edward's a nerd. He lives in a lair. He looks like a hoarder, but he does have like that Zoltar.
He lives in a lair. He lives in a room. It looks like he lives in a storage room. It's literally one room, and that Zoltar thing takes up half the space.
Well, like, lair doesn't mean size. A superhero, a villain can have a lair that's huge, or he can be early on in his villainy and have a studio apartment.
What is that Zoltar thing anyway? It's like the question mark man. It's not the Riddler, is it?
You know what? It may be because when it comes back to the green light, when he's going over names, he never says Riddler. He says something like question. What did he say? I forget what he said, and he never says Riddler.
He says like Quizmaster or
something like that. And then he looked at it. He goes, and then he came up with Riddler. So maybe that thing is called the Riddler.
Yeah, but what was the whole thing? There was only one option, right? Didn't it only go to the question mark?
It was no or yes.
It was no or yes. Okay.
It's like the 8-ball thing.
Yeah. It seems likely.
I still don't think that's really a lair. Because then, would you say like, well, Oscar the Grouch, his garbage can is a lair?
It could be a lair. He loves trash.
And he's a villain.
And it does have it downstairs. I don't know. My daughter watched Elmo and Grouchland, and it goes down really far.
Oh wait, so it's not just a can? It's actually like a house underneath?
It goes into like a world. Yeah, no, there's actually a basement in his thing. It's pretty funny.
All right.
So then so how about this? Wouldn't this, again, you could tell who Batman is by just his face, because you could see all of this, you know? He's going for an appointment with Dr. Meridian, and he shows up. But again, dude, that office is the coolest office ever. It looks so awesome. And he hears fighting. And his first instinct, not yell and say, "Are you okay?" No, he barges and busts the door down.
Without trying to open the door first. Okay.
What if it was open?
Yeah, so right. So one, he didn't try to open the door, and he didn't just knock it over. He took the door off the hinges, which I find almost impossible to do. I mean, like, you know, like the way it literally just like timbered down, like it fell right down. And now she's expecting him, correct? Like she has an appointment made.
Oh, I'm sure he's pretty punctual. I'm sure that's like right at the time.
Right. So she's gonna meet with someone, all sweaty, and just right after kickboxing.
That's true. How dare she? I'd be pissed. I'd be like, "Hey, give me that 5 minutes back."
And you know that room smells like sweat.
Oh,
like,
that is true.
Girls are not like that. You know that.
Girls don't sweat?
They sweat and they smell great.
You ever go to hot yoga?
Okay, that's that many people, and this is tiny little Kidman at what, 22? Did we decide how old she was?
26.
26. Okay, pardon me.
So you're saying she smelled
like
roses? He was
loving it. She did that on purpose, actually.
Oh, she definitely did it on purpose. But then again, though, she didn't know who she was meeting at first, right? I just think because she kind of seemed surprised.
Either way, she's like, this guy's gonna love me. I'm working
confused.
Out.
Yeah. What was that? Like, she has to know who her next patient is, and B, she has to know who Bruce Wayne is.
Without a doubt, there isn't a person in that town, because Gotham isn't that big, that doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is.
And they have to know how good of a guy he is. I'm sure he does charity and stuff like that. The fact that her first line was like, "Oh, good, if you can afford to get me a new door." I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. All right.
He's trying to kind of help you, know? That's all.
I still don't think anyone could just knock down a door, because he doesn't have super strength. And the way the door came off, I don't think anyone could do that.
Batman.
It is it's a thick door. It's a big door. And again, Batman doesn't have super strength. It's all about the suit. And he wasn't wearing it. So I don't believe that.
And can we talk about your first opinion, guys? That like Rorschach. Oh. When you saw that, could that be anything else but a bat?
But a bat. It was a bat right off the bat. Right off the bat.
Right off the bat. I even looked at it. I paused it. I'm like, what else could I think this could be? Like
100%.
Nothing. Like nothing. Yeah. And she was like, "Huh? Why'd you think that?"
Yeah, but you know what though? If you ever seen like when you watch these movies that use them, what the answers that some people give, like I do like double takes, and I'm like, what are you looking at? That they're pulling out like stuff they pull out of there. So I guess like because those things are real, those Rorschachs, and like just maybe. I mean, have you ever looked at a real one and like
no? The only one I can think of, and my favorite scene with it is in Problem Child with Michael Richards, when he's like, "Roses, I see a little puppy running in a field," and then as soon as like the warden leaves the prison, he goes, "Murder."
No, but those things are very strange anyway. So,
and then this is where the fact that they already have this very awkwardness, right? And this is when he says, "Oh, you must be obsessed with Batman." She's like, "Oh," and it's like every magazine, every photo, and then he goes, "I got to get you out of those clothes," and she goes, "Excuse me," and he's like, "And into a black dress. Would you like to accompany me to the circus?"
So wouldn't that be against? She's a doctor, right? It's like a psychiatrist.
That is true.
So wouldn't it? First of all, she just met him. Even though she knows who he is, she just met him. He's already asking her out on a date, and she's the therapist to him. So like, I'm not sure if that's allowed.
I wouldn't hook up with any person I have to do business with. In my life, No garbage men, no mailmen, no cashier clerk at the supermarket.
What do the Sopranos say? You don't shit what you eat?
Yeah.
Lord.
That's what it is. So.
Well, I heard Doug say men, and I heard you say shit, so... What about women?
Oh, garbage person.
Beautiful girls. Let's change the tone. What if she did it as like a little test to learn more about him?
Yeah, but well, you know what though? Like, same thing. Would you want to date someone when you're getting inside when you're sharing what's in your mind? Would you want to date that person? Like you're telling them all your dark secrets. You know that really. You know when you go to a therapist like that. You're really not sharing anything with anybody else but them.
You know what? I just realized it's a comic book movie.
It is?
Amy's face. Sorry.
It is?
It seems like, hey, baby. Or not even hey, baby. I'm sorry. But, hello, patient I wasn't expecting or did not know anything about. Let's go to the circus. And never mind. I can't. I'm not going to roll with it. So it's not going to go anywhere.
Well, you know, when he says like, you know, put you in a dress, I thought he was going to take her to like a banquet. No, he takes her to. You need a dress for the circus.
He still wants to be with the hottest girl at the circus.
Who doesn't want to take the hottest? Usually, a girl wants to go to a ball. He takes you to a circus.
I feel like I'm talking to like a cross-eyed Batman right now. I love it.
and you got to think the circus is one of the dirtiest places you're probably going to be.
It's filthy.
You know, so why would you have someone dress up to go to the circus?
Exactly.
I'm going to think about this as a female. I'm going to think long and hard.
Well, would you want to go to the circus all dressed up? Like as if you're going to... Yeah.
I honestly probably would, actually. I'd probably get dressed up because it's the circus. It's not like it's the grocery store. I mean, it's kind of a oddball place.
So you're saying the grocery store is dirtier than the circus?
No, I'm not saying... Well, I'm not saying the grocery store is dirtier, but I wouldn't get dressed up. I would rather get cute and dolled up for... God, that sounds weird to say out loud.
Cute and dolled up for the circus. Where'd you really go on a first date? Circus or bowling?
Oh.
I don't know. I think bowling might be dirtier than a circus.
Yeah, for sure.
So then we get to the circus. And so Bob Kane's wife has a cameo. She plays that annoying ass reporter. She's so annoying. She goes, "Oh, Bruce, who's this beautiful young girl?" And she goes, "Dr. Chase Meridian." And she goes, "Oh, a doctor of what?" It's like, bitch, Jesus. Nosy people.
Paparazzi. She's
TMZ.
She is a TMZ.
She had the photos of him and Catwoman.
See? Okay.
So that's how Dr. Chase knows.
Now
so
it makes
this
sense.
circus scene is something else.
Come on. It's so ridiculous.
At this time, the new management of the Circus International invites you to forget this good, clean, wholesome, all-American fun and join us in a celebration of absolute chaos and true
So we see Chris O'Donnell for the first time that we talked about earlier, all the people that almost had the role before him.
So his name is it's not Robin, right? It's Richard.
No, his name's
I think
Dick Grayson.
Well, Richard Dick, right? That's the
Yeah.
same name. Okay, Grayson. So where does Robin come in?
Oh, he tells a little story about Robin. About he swooped in like a robin. He's telling a story about how he saved like his brother one time or something. And he told Alfred that story, and Alfred said, "Oh yeah, you should use that."
Okay.
Yeah, and then he makes some comment later, "You'll fly again."
That's right. Okay. Because when I think of swooping in and saving, I think of a robin.
Mm-hmm.
Not an eagle or like a hawk. I think of a robin.
You rather his name be Eagle? Batman and Eagle?
I think Eagle's badass.
Oh.
I think Robin, it says it's his like foster son, right? But I feel like it's almost like a big brother, little brother thing. I don't know. You guys.
Oh, you mean his family?
No, just the dynamic of why they even called him Robin. Because it is a softer.
It is very.
You go from Batman to Robin.
Right. See? She's on the same page.
I'll be Robin. I I've wanted to dress up as the female Robin costume for a number of years, and I haven't.
Today would have been perfect.
You know what's great? It could be Robin. You don't have to change it. It doesn't have to be like Batwoman or Batgirl. It's just Robin, because Robin could be a girl's name, right? Is there a female Robin?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a female Robin.
That would be hot.
Okay, you don't think Hawk sounds better?
When you said eagle before, I just imagined like he's wearing like cut off jean shorts, a freaking American flag T-shirt. He's crushing beer cans over his head.
Okay, but that's more badass than Robin. I mean, I don't know.
Well, 90s, we have Radiohead. We had a lot of...
90s had like the best music ever.
So then we get Bruce, and they're not even sitting next to each other. Isn't that weird? I guess that's for the camera, so for the conversation. But they're like sitting in aisle seats across from each other because he goes, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And she goes, "I don't know." He goes, "I was thinking about doing rock climbing." So in your first 2 dates, you're telling your kids like, "Oh, how'd you and mom meet?" Well, first I barged down a door, and then I invited her to the circus.
And let's be honest, they really were only talking for like 5 minutes. Like when he knocked down the door, they were talking for 5 minutes, and then he goes, "All right, get dressed." So yeah, they're going on 2 dates within this meeting for 5 minutes.
I know, and
they did like
rock
speed
climbing.
dating.
Yeah, it was speed dating, and then she blows him off. She goes, "I have to be honest with you, I'm sort of into someone." It's like, damn, you took my circus ticket, and now you're telling me as soon as the show starts, the clowns came out of the tiny car, 15 clowns come out. Now you reveal this? I could have found someone else.
Wow.
Wow, you really thought about that.
Yeah, Batman. You and all your glory over here.
Batman's bitter.
So I think the more you talk, your mask keeps moving to the side.
I'm telling you, it looks like I look like Batman got kicked by a horse.
You look like the Toxic Avenger. Who's the sidekick?
Aww.
No, not Toxic Avenger. Oh, put it back on.
I was sweating. Look out! Oh my god, my face is so red.
So you're wearing the outfit for only 40 minutes? Okay, Batman wears it in fights and everything else, and there's no sweat. He smells.
Movie magic, man. It's only like 4-minute scenes. He takes it off. He breathes. He probably has a towel boy.
He's paid a lot of money.
He's paid a lot of money. Well, sequels pay pretty good.
I was going to say, I think Doug makes a lot of money doing sequels.
So then we get Two-Face. He comes in, he takes over the circus, and I love his lines. I know it's over the top. So I think I would have enjoyed his lines if he was both. Like if he did like the Jekyll and Hyde better.
Yep.
But like his line when he goes, "We call it massacre under the big top. We have 200 sticks of dynamite." Now let's talk about this. I know anybody that dies, it's a life loss, massacre. But there weren't that many people there. Bruce is Bruce Wayne, right? He was sitting in the back. He was sitting like the last row.
So where is Harvey Dent's Two-Face's anger coming? I know he's mad at Batman because he feels that it was his fault that he was there and everything else, and that's why everything happened.
I don't understand why.
Well, because I don't know, but
he jumped to save him.
Well, he said because Batman was there, and if he wasn't there, the other guy wouldn't have tried to throw the acid. Marino, or what are the guy's name, or something like that.
Yeah, Maroni, who's played by Eric Roberts in the newer movies. But
yes,
he was throwing it at. You're telling me he was trying to hit the acid at Batman?
That I don't know. That's
a bad toss.
But why is he mad at everybody to start killing everybody else? Like it's one thing to go after Batman, but where's his anger coming from everybody else?
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. Really.
Okay, it doesn't.
I do love that the mayor of Gotham is George Wallace, legendary comedian George Wallace.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh! And then we get the Flying Graysons. They save this cartoonish looking bomb that's huge. They're able to save it by doing their tricks and their feats. And
so there's a perfect circle hole above the tent where the bomb just happens, which looks like a plastic bomb. Like it looks
barely
really
fits through. It
barely fits through. And I mean, if it is that big, if it's a bomb that big, how heavy do you think that thing is?
Oh,
it's gonna be massive. Yeah. Yeah. And they're gonna risk his life to do that. All this. I mean, you know, he's not a hero. He's a gymnast.
He's a 17-year-old, maybe 16.
Okay. So, can we discuss this now?
Okay,
we can forget it. We'll get there. We're almost there. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's almost there. So then he saves it. Dick Grayson, Chris O'Donnell saves the day, gets it over top. But then at the very same time, Two-Face shoots his. He has some very silly looking guns, and it's not like it's a future. They're just like weird looking guns. They're like very rectangularly square, and he blows up. He shoots at what they're standing on. They all fall to the ground. They die.
Yep.
Oh, so that was like the first deaths of the movie.
That was the first deaths of the movie. But what his henchmen? They're all wearing the same ski mask. The red ski mask. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
I think he only meant to order one, and he clicked the wrong button. So they all got the same one.
Or maybe he's like, listen, I'm ugly. My face is all burnt, and I'm not looking at anyone else's face, so you have to be covered the whole time.
Yeah, I guess.
Because why would they have to wear a ski mask all the time?
I don't know. Why not to be confused with somebody else's henchmen? Like, are other henchmen wearing different colors or not wearing any colors? Would they be confused at the henchman, like where you go pick them up? Is there like a henchman store you go in there, or a henchman recruiting office?
But if that's the case, then wouldn't it be easy just to jump into their gang, just grab one of their masks, and you're one of them? Because you don't know who's underneath.
Batman, Bruce Wayne could have done that in this movie, or that would have been the better scene. Chris O'Donnell, he just puts one of those on, infiltrates the gang, gets next to Two-Face, boom.
See, if this was like a Naked Gun, Batman would do it, but he'd be wearing the Batman outfit.
I don't know. It goes back to my BDSM comment because it was just colorful leather to me.
Yeah, well, the mask wasn't leather.
Jamie.
Was their mask leather?
No, but I think their outfits were, right? The mask wasn't leather. It was like a normal ski mask.
Everything was colorful.
Very gimpy.
Mm-hmm,
very bulgy. They were just the bat bulge. Maybe that's why Dr. Meridian was like...
So you think that's why she knows so much? She likes the bat bulge?
He likes the bat bulge.
No, there was a bulge on the Riddler, though. That's the only one I noticed.
Whoa.
Whoa, what do you mean, whoa?
He had a Riddler bulge?
Yeah, and then he makes a comment about, I wrote it down. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there.
All right.
Oh, wow. So then, obviously, his parents die. And then this is where Bruce Wayne goes and he starts fighting the henchmen. Wouldn't people be like, holy shit, this really rich guy is like a master in karate because he's kicking the crap out of all these
100%. He's fighting like Batman. I mean, literally, he's doing every move that Batman has. So, yeah. How are they not? At this point, though, you would assume that everybody's out of the tent anyway. So, you know, with the explosion and everything else, they all probably ran out. So it's probably just him and the henchmen.
Oh, that's true.
So where's Gordon? I mean, he's a police officer. Where is he this whole time?
He's like the commissioner. I don't even know if he has a gun. He's sitting next to George Wallace.
But he's wearing the police officer uniform. So that's just for show?
I think it is.
Maybe he's like senile and like he should have retired like a long time ago, and they just let him keep wearing it just because you know. Come on, he's been around for a long time. Let him just.
They feel bad for him. Let him just keep wearing it. Let him pretend. He's like, what's his name in Office Space?
Oh, he's like Lassard.
Lassard, yeah. So here's the part that I've been dying to talk about is so then you see who showed up. Oh, Gordon showed up. Wayne Manor said, hey, this kid, his family died. He has nowhere to go. Can you take him in? And he goes, fine. And then as soon as they go inside, his first line, which I didn't even question it. He just said, hey, this guy is a kid could mean 20-year-old, you know.
Correct.
And his first line, he says to him, he goes, you telling that cop I'll be here for a while saves me from social services.
I wrote that down, and that's my problem. So he's riding a motorcycle, right? I mean, so he's clearly at least 17, you know, but he looks like he's in his 20s, you know, easily.
He's 25.
In his 20s. Yeah. Okay, so you look. So what is social services going to do for a 25-year-old, you know, kid? So, yeah. So I was like, how old is he supposed to be? Because they're making it like he's really like a 15-year-old, like a 16-year-old, you know?
Yeah, it's like he's a little kid that needs.
Yeah.
And then I love that Bruce is like, yeah, well, before you go, because he lives so far from the city, he's like, how about you? I have a gas tank. You know, you could fill up before you hit the road. There's not a gas station for miles. Come into my garage, and he's showing. It's almost like he's showing off. He's like Jay Leno's garage.
Oh, easily
showing off, and he's like, oh yeah. He's like, wow, is this so and so motorcycle Indian? He goes, yeah. You want to work on it? You want to be my bike mechanic?
Well, he goes. Well, I have two. Oh, he goes. Oh, and you have two of them? He goes, yeah, but one doesn't work.
Oh yeah.
So when it doesn't work, you just buy another one instead of getting it fixed by a mechanic.
And then the other line, he goes, I thought they only made 100 of those. And he goes,
101.
101. I'm like, wow, dude. That almost made it seem like they made 100, but Bruce made a call. I need another.
That's exactly what I meant. 100%. Yep.
Jesus Christ.
So since we're talking about cars, I have to say that I absolutely hated the Batmobile.
Yeah, it was very like.
Why did it have a fin? It had a fish fin on the top.
It did.
And why?
I don't know. And it moved when he drove. It
did.
Like,
it waved, and so did the airplane or the plane, whatever he had. The bat. What is it called? Bat plane. Okay. It also had the fin. Like it made no sense. The cars have never had a fin, so this is like the first time it had it. Unless it's, makes it go faster in the wind.
I don't know if it's like the limp javelin spear from Revenge of the Nerds.
Who makes all this stuff? Like, who makes the Batmobile, the helicopter, the gadgets? Like, who makes it? It's only him and Alfred.
I think it's Alfred doing some of it because he makes the suit. He made the suit without Bruce knowing. You
could sew a suit. I mean, he also makes Robin's suit in this movie.
That's what I mean. I'm talking about Robin's suit, a 41-pound suit. Okay. Is there a suit guy? No, how do you order that?
He's old school. He could, old school guys. They could do like tailor stuff. That's fine. I mean,
it was metal. He's a blacksmith.
He's old.
I have a theory.
Okay.
I think he finds orphans and has them build his cars.
So you think he has a sweatshop down there?
And then he murders them.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I mean, he asked Robin, "Can you fix my bike?" I was going to say bicycle, but.
Well, what about his eyebrows? Can we talk about them for a second? Because I feel like his eyebrows are like another character. Those things look like massive, like caterpillars, and they were like Alfred's. Who do you think? Who else had crazy eyebrows?
I don't know. I didn't know we were diving into eyebrows now.
Well, Drew Barrymore had like no eyebrows, but she looked great.
She did look great.
She did look great, and I didn't even notice she didn't have any eyebrows. That's like how good her eyebrows looked.
Yeah.
Or how you were looking at her eyebrows.
I was not.
Her curls.
All right.
Okay, back to eyebrows.
Yeah, he had like caterpillars, right?
They could have almost been like a comb over. Like they were so long, they were thick and long. Like they were like they had a personality on its own.
Do you think they're in SAG?
That they could be because they were on screen a lot. So.
Damn, I would pay to sit next to Jamie and just look at him while he's watching Batman, just to see his eyes with the eyebrow scene.
He pauses. He's like, "Honey, get the microscope." He's using like a detective lens.
No,
he's on screen, and when you have a big TV, the eyebrows are bigger.
His pupil is dilated.
All right.
So then we get the first of the darkness that this movie wanted to become, but Schumacher cut a lot of like the real dark stuff. But you had like Bruce looking at the family photos, and he's having like the flashbacks of Jack Napier killing his parents. And then we have Batman. So how about this? And then Batman in the next scene, he's just going for a drive. Like in the very next scene, he just goes for a drive. He's getting, oh, dude, this is the dumbest part of the movie. I should have made a cut. Shorror, I don't know if I'm like leaning towards your side now that we're talking about it, but the fact that he's getting followed by the henchman, right? In
God.
Jamie, Grease, the movie Grease.
Of course.
They're in the cars from Grease, And remember the pot-faced villain, the bad guy?
Yeah, of course.
In Grease?
Of course.
He looked like Two-Face. So they're driving these grease cars and they're following Batman. How in the hell, just because Batman has a grappling hook on the front of his car and he can somehow go up a building, whatever, that's cool. But why don't those guys hit the brakes? They can't do that.
And how are the Riddler and Two-Face watching all this? Weren't they watching? It wasn't this. They were watching all this.
It was on GNN, maybe?
No, and they wasn't this. This wasn't when they were playing Battleship, was it? No, this is Battleship.
Battleship's later when they're doing the.
No, but weren't they watching this on the screen? They were watching.
No, they're not
the
watching
radar.
Because this is where Two-Face is pretending to be a homeless guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Remember,
you're right.
he pretends to be a homeless guy.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, not a homeless guy. A
That was
woman with a carriage. He was
How'd you
pushing.
know she was a woman?
No, it was a.
It was a baby carriage.
No, it was a homeless person with a shopping cart. But
I thought it was a woman pushing a baby carriage.
No, well, it's this movie uses a few of the same things from other ones. Maybe they did that purposely. Remember in Batman Returns when Batman's about to hit the woman with the cans, and he just like stops the Penguin from controlling it. And then they even do the scene from the first Batman with the karate. Remember the guys doing the crazy karate? Yeah. And Michael Keaton just stands there. They do that scene in this movie. But no, the fact that when he has a rocket launcher and Batman pulls out another wheel, a fifth wheel,
and goes sideways. Yeah.
I love that.
Again,
that
who's making this stuff? Like, it's crazy because it's really an old man and Batman.
They got a guy. Maybe it's the people that, like Shorror said, they find these geniuses, they kidnap them, and they keep them in the basement. Maybe Albert Einstein's grandson works.
Albert.
Okay.
Or maybe they have like a Q. Like, isn't it Q for James Bond? Like the
yes.
Okay.
They can use them. They're British. Maybe Alfred and him are related.
Right. Well, in the TV show Gotham, I watched a couple of seasons of that. Alfred actually knows how to fight on the show.
Oh yeah, he teaches them. Yeah,
he teaches them. So maybe I'm sure he's got a guy then.
Yeah.
Okay. Case closed.
And then now from that grappling, the fact that they drive into the wall, not one car, not two cars, but like 7 of the bad guys' cars crash into the wall. Is there like just henchmen chomping at the bit? Is the economy so bad in Gotham that this is a job? Like, honey, I got a job. It's like, oh, what is it, back in marketing? No, marketing jobs, it's all filled up. I'm going to be an henchman for Two-Face. First night, he freaking doesn't know how to brake. They just drive right into the wall. It's a 7-car pileup.
Yeah. Again, the damage that's done in this movie is a lot.
Yeah. Jesus
I think
Christ.
they're driving bumper cars.
And then we kind of talked about this earlier, the way he came up with the name. I wrote all the names down: Puzzler, Gamester, Captain Kill, Question Mark Man. And then that's when it moves over. It says the Riddler.
Question Mark Man.
So then we get the first time that the Riddler, we talked about Sugar and Spice a bunch, Debbie Mazir and Drew Barrymore in the lair. She's the one who plays Spice. She was on Entourage. She was the PR manager for Vinny.
Entourage. Yeah.
And so the Riddler shows up and they meet for the first time.
I hope you made extra.
Who the hell are you?
Just a friend. But you can call me
The Riddler. I'll call you dead is more like it. How did you find us here?
But then if I talked, what would keep you from slaying me, oh segregated one? By the way, that's never gonna heal if you don't stop picking.
Let's see if you bleed green.
Harvey!
And dude, I love when he shows the brainwave invention to him and they became buddies. That first montage is so funny. When he says, "Can you show me how to punch a guy?"
Yeah. I mean, this is typical Jim Carrey. The way he responds to the punch is just so funny. His mannerisms, his face, his pain face, like, it's hysterical. I mean, Jim Carrey, to me, the rest of the movie is just owns every scene he's in.
Yeah, and that's what's funny about it. I know they might have not got along, like Tommy. Well, it was only one-sided, but they looked like they had so much fun together. Like,
you know what? You find that a lot in Hollywood. A lot of times there's so many behind the scenes of like, co-stars that hated each other, but somehow when it's filming, they're able to do their job, and that's what it is. It's a job. So think about it this way. I mean, how many times have you had a job that you didn't like your boss or something, but you still go to work and you're able to work with them and, same kind of thing.
Famous one, John Voight and Dustin Hoffman, I read about today.
Oh, for
they
the Urban Cowboy?
each other on Midnight Cowboy.
Midnight Cowboy.
No. I don't no. Wait.
Urban Cowboy is John Travolta, right?
Yes. Could you imagine if they were in that together? Who's the girl in Urban Cowboy? I forget her name. Big 80s actress. In a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
It'll come to me later. So then at this point, Riddler is sending a ton of riddles to Batman, like so many. Him and Alfred are like going through all of them, and
not for nothing. Batman solves them all pretty quick.
He's pretty smart.
He is smart, but like you would think they're like he would need help on any of them. Like the Riddler would make them a little difficult. No, they're all pretty easy for him.
For him, I didn't know.
I knew two of them.
Ooh,
yeah.
So then here's where we talk about the time jump in this movie. So then we get after this part, we get Nigmatech. All right. It is the biggest product. Everyone owns it. Edward Enigma. They have the GNN thing on the newscasters. Like everyone has one in their home. And he says that it doesn't do any damage to your brain. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, not even to get these people in, not even get these things into people's home, setting up like a manufacturing facility. So like how many months into the future is this?
And they're saying he's making more of a profit than Wayne Enterprise.
Yeah.
So
the stock, yeah.
Guys, so now Wayne Enterprise makes tons of money. So how long is this that he's able to catch up and make more than Wayne? It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So there's a huge, and again, he's got a different hairstyle and hair color at this point too.
He's changing.
But he does go back to the same haircut and hairstyle after.
How astute.
He does. And then later on, he gets longer hair and a different hairstyle. So.
Damn.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I might have to rewatch it just for that.
Wait, you didn't notice? You didn't know in the scenes when he's as Edward at the party, he's got normal hair.
Yeah.
And then he's got the flat top, the orange flat top when he's dropping the bombs.
Well,
he wears a wig.
Is it like a play on the whole Batman vibe of like alter ego, evil versus good? I don't know.
Well, he completely changes who he is. And the fact that he was Edward, I thought that was pretty neat. Like when you saw him as that person, because I didn't really expect that to happen.
He does say, "How's my mole?" Right?
Oh, yeah. You know what? He doesn't normally have that mole. And he had it as in the beginning of the movie too. That the Val Kilmer mole. He had it in the beginning of the movie. So I wonder like if that was like an on-set joke and they just left it in there.
Maybe.
Because he literally, I noticed it like when he first met him and he had that. I'm like, Jim Carrey doesn't have that, but it's the exact same spot as Val Kilmer.
That's great.
I bet I would like to hear the history.
No,
of that,
is it because he admired him? He admired Bruce Wayne?
Oh, maybe. So
is that what you do? You get the same mole? I can understand the same tattoo. That's weird too, but you imagine meeting someone, they're like, I love you so much. I had a mole put in just like you.
I think a lot of people get tattoos based on people they admire. I don't know.
Yeah, but they might get like their face or something or, something. But
look
like
at Kardashians. They're a whole mantra of little cultist.
Oh, I have a Courtney tattoo on my lower back. She's the best of the Kardashians.
Can you name them all?
Yeah, Courtney, Khloe, Kim, Kendall, Kylie.
You watch the show.
K. All right, back to business. Back
Bruce.
to Batman.
No, not anymore.
I know.
Should we just change the whole subject? Do we just move on to the
So then we get like the silliest part. Another a part of it is so dumb that I don't know why it was added in. So we saw that Dick was obsessed with the room that he saw. That he's like, I can go in every room in the house but that one. And then like a few scenes later, He watches Alfred from the top floor. And the fact that what he does to get down there is cool. I'm fine with that. Why does he scream now?
To himself. Well, he's got to pump himself up. But how slow does that door close?
The slowest. Wouldn't they have a heavy door that closes fast?
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, not for nothing. I noticed that, you would think that Wayne Manor would have the most high-tech security system. And the fact that the bad guys could easily just drive up to the gate and walk themselves in, there's like nothing, like the security there is horrendous.
Yeah, and what parents are letting their kids walk there?
Why would kids walk there? What kids
we
are walking
saw
there?
Later in the movie. Kids were at the house trick-or-treating.
Oh, I must have missed that part.
And they're like 2 miles from the city.
They were trick-or-treating? They had trick-or-treaters in this movie?
Oh, dude. Were you sleeping? This is a Halloween movie now.
I was probably writing notes.
It's when Kidman is over at his house and
later at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're probably thinking about Alfred's eyebrows.
I was.
Wait, but I thought the scene we were I thought the scene we were talking about was when he's the laundry and he's like swinging it on the
No,
that's I think we're past that scene, right? And
yeah, we are. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you brought.
Girl cannot bring up the worst scene in the film.
No, I'm so glad you did, because
that is the worst scene in the movie.
What was the point of that? Like although I could see you doing that, Doug. Is that how you do laundry?
No, I do it very carefully. The right settings. I read all the labels.
Like, do you think he was doing it to show off in front of Alfred, or is that how he really does it?
He made a comment. I wish I could remember.
Well, I have to assume that's not the first time he's done that. So I'm going to say that he actually does his laundry that way.
I would hope that's not the first time, because he did it perfectly.
He did
circus laundry. It's freaking circus laundry.
Everything was a weapon, the way he was using it. Ridiculous. So stupid.
I learned that from the clowns. Wouldn't that be funny if he had a line like that? So, yeah, and then he breaks in. He falls down the stairs. Alfred's look to him is like, motherfucker.
But you see, you know what though? I saw that differently. I felt like Alfred slowly had the door open and he was expecting him to go down there.
No, but he was pissed after that. Alfred was very pissed the way he called Bruce at the same time. Bruce's he had session with Dr. Meridian.
He had to play piss because he didn't want Bruce to think he brought him down there without telling him. But I think he wanted him to come down there to see that because he saw potential after seeing the laundry bit. He knew he has, skill, and he's going to be a sidekick.
He had the Apple Watch 20 years ahead of its time, which was
that was what I was going to say. Maybe that was the setup. Maybe he said, "Okay, Alfred, I'm going to be with Dr. Meridian. I want to show up the new gadget we put together." Then he gets a phone call. He's looking at his Apple Watch, and he took out the car. What, the Benz? No, the other car. The Rolls? It's okay. It's the Rolls. And he's like, no, the other car.
Why couldn't he say, was it on the phone? He was on the phone, right?
He was on the phone, yeah.
So why? Oh, because was he on speaker?
Yeah, it was like an Apple Watch with.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he had the thing in his ear. All right. So that's why he couldn't say it.
They didn't have that technology yet.
Oh yeah, true. They didn't have the wireless, headpiece, but they had the Apple Watch. All right.
It was pretty well done. It was my favorite practical effect. I don't know. Was it a practical effect?
Ooh.
Yeah.
What, the watch?
Yeah, that was my favorite. I didn't care about any of the weapons. I was like, wow, good for them. They thought of this before their time.
You weren't a fan of the glow in the dark gang in the next scene?
Actually, I was. I wrote about that. It was. It was.
I don't.
The main henchman, future guest, Don the Dragon Wilson. He's the gang leader.
What else has he been in?
A ton of karate movies, and he's like he's a champion fighter.
I actually wrote my notes say that was probably the most fun scene to film.
Well, it was funny when they asked him who he was, and he goes, "I'm Batman." They started laughing at him.
Mm-hmm.
They said, "More like Bat Boy."
I kind of enjoy a humiliation in the right context. Not mean humiliation, but like warranted, where he's like, "Yeah, I'm Batman." They're like, "Get out of here!" I'm like,
"Yeah, no, That was funny. Well, good. They were all excited to see him, I guess, because they saw Batman's car, and then when he comes out, it's like,
and then Doug comes out.
Fat man. Shit. But the fact that he does the right thing, again, he's 17, 16 years old, and he just lost his family, and he hears a girl screaming, and he runs, and he saves her. He saves this girl to get her to leave, and he's fighting the floor. What this scene is what all of Batman and Robin is. Fluorescent colors, brightness. Like, this movie has a little bit of that, but nothing like this scene.
No, I know. It's ridiculous. But, how does he get keys to Batman's car? Like, wouldn't you think, like, Batman's car would be, like, almost impossible to start yourself?
But nobody's in there, so why would nobody's allowed to in there? Why would you put your keys anywhere else?
Okay, I don't even think he has keys for the car. It's probably like voice. It's probably like kit. It's probably like voice, activated. There's no way that again. I mean, there's no security at this place, so I guess, but it just doesn't make sense. All
but
right.
we do get the. Is it the first kiss, or did Batman already kiss Chase?
No, they kissed already.
They did already because when the girl I
know that was funny. That was funny.
Doesn't Batman ever kiss the girl in a nice makeout? I'm like, whoa!
I could really get into this superhero gig, right? That's like what it follows up with.
That's why Doug got into it. It's about the girls, man.
About the ladies.
I do love Don the Dragon Wilson as the guy when he looks at Robin and he blows the whistle and 100 guys show up, and then boom, who comes out of nowhere?
The real Batman.
The real Batman to save the day. He gets there pretty quick.
He does. Always.
But does he get there to save Robin or his vehicle?
Well, I think it's his vehicle. He was, but I think also to scold Robin. He's like Robin's a kid. He's a little kid.
Yeah, he yelled at him, and then he even talked to him and tried to and he even talked in like sort of third person because at this point he knows, right? He obviously Robin's not dumb.
Knows. Right.
It's not like he's like, oh no, Batman parks all this stuff under your house. He goes, Bruce Wayne would have gave his life for your family if he could.
Well, this is where he started crying and punching Batman.
Yeah.
Okay, so if he was really he just beat up a whole gang, and the way he was punching Batman was like a 5-year-old punching their father. He was
crying. He was emotional.
I know, but he was like punching like a little kid. If he was really angry, he could have put a little more effort into it.
Take notes, everybody. Hit your father harder for Jamie.
Yeah. Hit him right in the chin. So then we get the next, and then they bond over that their parents are killed by psychos. He revealed Jack Napier killed his parents. And then we kind of mentioned the ball already. Like Enigma has that big party to unveil like the new technology. And that's where Bruce gets tricked by Sugar. So did she this is what's weird. It's almost like they not like sort of like Poison Ivy. Like, did they put a spell on them? The fact that Bruce went with Sugar and the fact that Dr. Meridian in seconds dances with Edward, kind of weird, right?
Yeah, I wrote that down. I didn't understand.
Well, he grabbed her. He goes, "Come on, let's
creepy."
Dance.
Wouldn't Bruce be like?
No, because Bruce wanted to scope out the Enigma knew Bruce is obviously going to scope it out, so he wanted, it was obviously all set up. So he figured, let me dance with her. It's a ball. That's how the rich people do it. They just dance with whoever. It's like swapping. It's like swapping.
It was a swingers party.
That's it. So
thank you, Jamie.
Yeah. See.
No, but I actually agree because it was confusing why he was so because he becomes like entranced at a point, right? And then
yes.
Who are you talking about?
Bruce Wayne.
Well, when he goes in there, he goes in a trance.
Yeah, but he knew what he was walking into. I mean, he wasn't.
But he told her how do you turn it off. So
which was so ridiculous that she goes, "You take this out."
Yeah.
And then she's gonna trust the guy with Edward.
Right.
Because he has to know, right? The Edward and the Riddler look alike.
Correct. So, I mean, shame on him for falling for that. But so he thought he was going in there. He wanted to inspect it when it was off. And then
I fell for it too. I thought she was into him because she was like, he's so cute. What a snack.
Well, I think she was into him. I mean, it's Batman. Who's not into Batman?
But maybe I missed something. Maybe I got distracted. So you're saying, so she took the little glow stick out.
He asked her, how do you turn it off? He goes, this is how you turn it off. He took the glow stick out. He goes in there. She put the glow stick back in.
Oh. No, and then she had a glow stick hidden in her boobs, a smaller glow stick.
But why wouldn't she just put the? Did she give him the glow stick?
He took the big one.
Oh,
it was like a big test tube. She had like a little one.
Oh,
I guess the little one could still fit in there.
It was the fake one.
Oh, the fake one, yeah.
But I mean, the sad thing is what was going on in his mind, right? That crystal clear picture.
Yeah, it was a little bizarre.
Yeah, but it was so dumb. I don't know.
The bat looked ridiculous.
That, yeah. There was actually supposed to be a scene with the huge bat and like something with Bruce, but they like cut it from the movie because it ended up being like
they
too
couldn't
dark.
use a real bat.
Can I ask a really quick question? Oh, I'm gonna ask it. Why is he Batman? Did I miss? Oh,
he ran away.
Is it the Christian Bale one? Is it?
Well, he had a whole scene with this. He had a whole flashback when he was telling the story. He fell into that. He fell into a
cut this out. Cut this out.
Well, or Kate? Yeah, he fell into a wave.
But it fell into a hole. No, he fell like a hole. Was it a well?
Okay, so okay, all right.
Yeah, which he would have broke his legs when he landed, but it was like he fell pretty far down. But it turned out to be like a bat cave in the ground.
And from there on, he became Batman.
That's how it works.
You become your biggest.
What if he
fear?
like fell into like a little like rabbits? What if he's surrounded by rabbits or another animal?
He'd be Rabbit Man.
The Easter Bunny.
He would be the Easter Bunny. That's the Easter Bunny.
That's how the Easter Bunny. Exactly. See.
So then we get, like Shorror mentioned, he goes into that room. You see the bat, and then at this same point, Two-Face comes in, ruins it by just shooting everything, and it shuts off the power and it breaks the machine.
He's such a loose cannon. Two-Face, really. I mean, he just, you think you're on the same page with Jim Carrey, and he just does whatever he wants.
Dude, this next scene when Bruce says, Alfred, I have to change in the car, and he goes into the car, he changes, and dude, I laughed so hard when he comes through the sunroof. He comes through, the glass breaks, and then you hear one guy in the crowd, he goes, hey, it's Batman!
and isn't that where he goes, your entrance was good, his was better. Like, yeah. And then no.
Was this before Meridian goes my place at midnight?
This is right after it. So
right after.
You got to think all this chaos is going on, bombs going off. She says, my place, midnight.
Yeah.
That's what she's thinking about. Not like, hey, I got to get out of here without harm. No, I need to get boned.
Yeah.
That is what she's thinking about.
Well, she's been thinking that from the beginning.
Yeah. I was like, midnight is too late. Why? That was my first thought. I was like,
I'm sleeping. Batman, can you come at 7:45?
Yeah, right. It's like 9:30.
I mean, this guy's on call all the time. Like he needs to sleep.
Yeah.
That
was a little selfish. That was a little selfish.
We got to think of the Batmans in the world.
100%.
And then at this very same time, Dick Grayson, he has his suit. Alfred brought it and like hid it in the trunk. So I guess Bruce didn't know. And he's going into like fight at the same time. But then this is where Batman, again, he's so smart, right? I did love the CGI, like the technology of him flying off the roof. But then he falls for the old trick, like let me follow these henchmen into a hole.
Yeah.
That leads down a tunnel into another like almost. It looked like this. Did they use the same prop from the opening scene? It looked like the bank vault because he's trapped in there. They shoot gas in there, and somehow Batman has a new gadget we didn't know about.
Listen, he had a flame resistant cape that we didn't talk about before, right? So
well, that's what happens right now.
Oh, there's a scene. Okay, there's a scene. Yeah. So, it looked like it became steel. Like it was just a weird. Like, come on. Like, how does his gadgets in this movie become like just? I mean, listen, I could see a batter ram. You know, the ninja star thing he throws. You know, the grappling hook. But now your cape turns to steel.
But I did like that he came out really weathered and like he like went through something, and then Tommy Lee, then Two-Face is like, "Why won't you die?" And then who saves the day? Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson is the one to save the day. I love as soon as he saves him, after Batman gets covered in all this rubble, he's like in like sand, all the scaffolds, which is like totally impractical. They really blew that shit up on set. And Hand comes through, and
the partnership. This is where the partnership happens.
It begins.
Once they grab hands, that's it. Yep.
Because the Joygasm scene where the Riddler or Jim Carrey, whatever we want to reference him as, but he's wearing like the tightest little suit, and that's where you can see his bat balls. Is that what we were referring to?
His bat balls? Well,
he wouldn't have bat balls. It'd be Riddler balls.
Okay.
Or it'd be the Riddler rod.
The Riddlers were shown. I was like, oh, okay.
Is that why he walks around with a big rod?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, did he? But
no, in his
ocean
hand.
Scene, right?
No, he has when he has the staff.
Yeah, it's like it's right after they kidnap.
So you're saying the Riddler's packing heat?
The Riddler's packing.
Am I going in order?
No, it's right around this scene. No,
it is.
You're pretty close to it.
Cool.
No.
Okay, because the ocean scene, did that already occur?
No.
That's the end.
He also he becomes very like he reminded me of Elton John later at one point in this movie.
Yes,
the outfit he had on, right? Okay, okay. I wasn't the only one. Okay.
So then we get at midnight when he shows up at Dr. Meridian's place. And I think even at this scene, Alfred gives him like love advice, a little bit of like a pep talk. And I love that when he gets there, again, she was like, seemed like she was into him, right? To meet at midnight. And she goes, I met someone.
Wow.
And he turns and he smirks. And she's in lingerie waiting, but his smirk is awesome.
But that, imagine being him at that point. He's like, yeah.
I'm better than Batman.
I'm better than Batman.
And right away, we know they're watching the brain scan because I guess they had memory cards to save everything. So they knew Bruce. Isn't it weird that he has a bat? So then they know, boom, it's him. And then here we get the scene that Jamie was staring at Alfred's eyebrows. But trick-or-treaters come to the house. There's a pumpkin. There's like 6 or 7 kids.
I don't know how I missed that.
Alfred says, Happy Halloween. And then you have Chase and Bruce sitting on the couch. So awkward because they're both trying to, because he said to Dick in the scene before, I'm done being Batman. It's only caused harm. I'm going to tell Chase everything. And they're both having this very awkward, like she wants to say I'm into you and he wants to say I'm into you and I'm Batman.
You know, he says that now, but this is the 3rd movie. So Batman's caused a lot of harm and a lot of deaths in the last 2 movies. Why only now is he realizing that, you know, being Batman is a lot of, you know, carnage?
A girl really loves him, maybe.
He's had a girlfriend in every movie.
Yeah, but it's because this is Batman Forever, and there's a contradiction to his...
See? Okay.
Batman Forever, till death do us part.
I mean, not for nothing. He had Kim Basinger in the first movie.
Yes.
You know,
I think Kidman looks great in this, though.
She does.
But
I would be more of a Kim Basinger fan over Kidman.
I agree. I will say, I looked up how old she was. She's like 51 now or 55.
Who, Nicole Kidman?
She's 51 to 5.
Yeah.
Kidman.
I believe that.
Yeah.
But I thought she was like 65.
Well, she looks it because she has a lot of plastic surgery.
And she got famous super.
Yeah.
You're thinking she did Dead Calm at 19.
Yeah.
Older. I mean, even in this film, I thought she'd maybe be 30 and looking great.
Well, you know what though?
Like,
look at Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, she looked amazing in the second movie. So
Yeah.
Batman gets it.
He gets it. He gets it all right. So then we have the trick-or-treaters come, and then how about the next? So Alfred can make these suits. They have all these cameras and everything around this house. They somehow let in a cavalry of villains in multiple cars. And Alfred, I love that Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey are wearing like kids' Halloween masks.
Yep.
Like trick or treat.
You know what? See, now I'm not. That's a scene I remember. I don't know how I didn't think that we're.
So wouldn't you have written down in your notes? Why would they say trick or treat?
I didn't hear that. I just forget it. I was still talking about the eyebrows.
You're still talking about the eyebrows. But yeah, he fell for that, and they're beating the crap. Then you have all these henchmen, and it's just Bruce Wayne. And I thought this scene was really well done. I'm sure, obviously, Val had a stuntman, but it was cool him diving on the long table, the table going up. Like,
it was cool seeing him do the Batman stunts, not as Batman. You know, as a man. Like, it was like almost like doing like Bourne Identity. Like he was doing Jason Bourne, and it was very cool. No, I agree.
And this is the scene that I was talking about earlier. This is where comic book fans really hate it, because Two-Face in the comics, he would only flip the coin once and that was it. So he flips it like 17 times to get the result he wanted. And the way the studio, I guess somehow they put something out, they were like, he was basically thinking of all of his moves ahead of time. And he was flipping for all those, which is so dumb. It's not like he almost was going to do something all those times, but he shoots Val Kilmer. But where does he shoot him?
I don't.
Does it just graze him because he has blood on his forehead, but he's like pretty much passed out? He's like dead.
Yeah, he wasn't moving. So, I mean, yeah, you know, the whole coin thing. You see No Country for Old Men?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how Two-Face should have been. You know, in that movie, he flipped a coin, and if it landed right, he would kill them or not. And that's how, like, Two-Face, there's no point of flipping the coin if you're just going to keep flipping it until you get the answer you want.
Yeah.
So I understand why the comic book geeks, you know, would be upset about that.
No, totally.
So, but yes, Batman looked like he was dead. Or Val Kilmer or Bruce Wayne looked like he was dead.
Yeah, and then the Riddler stops him and says, no, don't do it, because then he'll never learn.
Never learn.
And it's like, classic bad guy mistake.
We exactly. I wrote that down. I'm like, this happens, and we discuss it all the time. It's this mistake every single time. They never finish the job.
Yeah, and Jamie's favorite scene with the bombs. I do love the Riddler bombs because they look like little bats.
Just his little dancing when he's doing it, and he's like throwing it, and he's playing bass. It was just a funny. I thought it was a funny scene.
Yeah. And he's pitching.
Or when he drops a two, one on one each side, and does the old.
Yeah. No, it's so great.
Oh, and then he grabs his Riddler balls, and you hear like a honk. Like as a pitcher, he spits, and then as he's walking away, he grabs his Riddler balls, and then it had like that old like cartoony honk.
It's great. And she's tied up on so Riddler has all this money from selling his, TV sets. He has a Riddler couch with Riddler question mark lights coming in.
How quick did he make his lair? I mean, that's a massive lair with trapdoors and whatever, I don't know, what was it? It was sharks or piranhas or spikes or what was down there?
Oh, what was down there? I forgot.
There's spikes, maybe.
I thought it was
it was spikes. Yeah.
Okay. So
it was on like an island or something.
So this is Gotham. Where's he able to build a lair like that?
How many months has it been?
How many layers are there? You got a Joker lair. You got how are they not finding these layers?
They should. There's a lot of bad guys.
There's a penguin lair. I mean, it's what?
Yeah.
Sewers.
So
aren't sewers a thing?
Oh, well, they all look like they're underground.
I can represent California and Arizona, and you guys can represent Florida, New York, and
Florida.
Yeah, I'm just putting that on your side of the country.
No, don't lump us in with Florida. Don't do that.
Nobody wants Florida. So.
Nobody.
Can we make a superhero film about Florida?
Florida Man. That'd be a pretty good superhero movie.
What would be your special powers?
That's on you, Jamie.
No,
just
I'm Batman.
Just screwing up. You're not. I'm Batman.
Just
We're
getting
gonna
drunk and
we're going to discuss this.
incest.
Whoa.
Come on.
So then we get, because of what happened, he blew up everything, but the only thing was left was like a prototype suit and the bat plane, the bat boat. And then we talked about the riddles. Him and Alfred figure out exactly. He does it almost like Jeff Goldblum in Independence Day.
I know.
Like,
I know.
the way he pieces it together, they figure it out. And then it's Batman and Robin together. Robin takes the boat, Batman takes the plane, and they're getting ready to go.
And this is the battleship scene, right?
This is, yeah. But on the way to the battleship scene, can Commissioner Gordon really see him that he does that awkward, like,
yeah, it's
thumbs
ridiculous.
up?
Well, again, he's confused. So, you know, he probably, again, he's not really commissioner. He's been retired a long time ago, and they just let him do whatever he wants.
I think he was in his robe again.
He was. He's probably at a hospital. Like he's probably at the what's the Arkham?
He's probably in Arkham.
He's probably in Arkham. Yeah.
Bruce checks him out every few days.
Like a leave of absence, just a couple days.
Yeah. So the battleship scene, I think it's so great, so silly. Obviously, how do they see where they are so perfectly? But just how animated both of them are. I know Tommy Lee's over the top playing Two-Face, but it's so cool seeing them legends like playing back to back.
B12. And my favorite vitamin, I might add.
You know, this is the first movie that has two villains. You know, the first one had the Joker, the second one had the Penguin. Oh, well, yeah, but
Penguin and Catwoman.
Yeah, but she was a mix. Like, it was like, this is like two villains going against Batman, and so working together. Like, Catwoman wasn't working with the Penguin, so like it was cool to see like the two villains, together, trying to get Batman. So yeah, I like that part of it.
Yeah, and Robin, I guess they're really just going for him because he chose the wrong one, because he's able to eject just in time because they're hitting him over and over again. And the fact that there's scuba henchmen waiting for him.
I'm starting to think like the henchmen are like clones, because they're all like look the same size. They all look, do the same thing. And they basically like they're expendable, because he seems to have a lot of them. So I bet. I wonder
if there's good benefits. Like, why would people do that if they know that the death rate's pretty high? There must be some great, like maybe your family gets set for life.
Maybe it's the orphans that get kicked out of the Wayne Manor after they make all the inventions. They get kicked to the side, and that's when he picks them up and trains them. And that's why they hate Batman so much.
Ooh.
See?
That's pretty good. I like that logic. So then Batman even gets shot down by the Riddler. And by his question mark, right?
His question mark was able to open the Batcave door when he was at the house. Like his question mark. This is what I mentioned in the beginning of the movie. So yes, now he could, he's become more intelligent now. But that question mark is able to do a lot of things. It can turn on different equipment. It can put on lights. It's like a remote control now.
But then Batman gets shot down. He turns his plane into like a boat, and then he dives out of the boat and he's swimming. He saves Robin, catches the villains in the net. And one of the coolest homages of anything is when they get out and he says,
"Oh my goodness,
holy rusted metal, Batman."
Mm-hmm.
And the best part is Batman's like, "What?" Like he had no idea what he's, and then he had to explain. There's rust here, and it's holy. A lot of holes in it.
He delivered that so well. It was the best line in the whole movie.
It was very funny.
O'Donnell in the behind the scenes, he says like how he grew up on the show, so it was like quite an honor for him to play, which is pretty cool that people still love it.
I wonder if he threw that in there himself. Like I wonder if he because that could have been like an ad-libbed line.
That'd been cool.
I would say there was spirit to it because it felt very 50s or.
Well, that's how it felt exactly like the show. So
Mm-hmm.
that was I thought it was fun, so funny.
Burt Ward was in the movie theater and he was like crying. Probably he was like, "Yeah, thank you, Chris O'Donnell."
See, I wish they used like them in the movie somehow. Like, he could have been Alfred. How great would that have been?
Adam West?
Yes.
No, he couldn't have been Alfred.
Yes, he could have. That would have been great. That would have been great.
Could you imagine Adam West and William Shatner like having a conversation?
Wait, why William Shatner?
Because William Shatner, they both have very drawn out the way.
No, they do.
speak.
Oh, you're talking about in general having a conversation.
Yes.
Okay, but it's throwback. I think he could have been easily been. I don't know.
Could have been the mayor.
Could have been.
Okay, I gotta say it because what is it? Family Guy? Doesn't
Yes.
Adam West play the
Yes.
mayor?
He does. See
the mayor.
See. All right. You could have Burgess Meredith. He was the Penguin on the show.
Still alive. Yeah, he was still alive at this point.
All right. Just saying.
Bring them all back.
Bring them all back.
So then we have a nice battle between Two-Face and Robin. And Robin. Oh, and then Robin saves him. Why? That's what I don't understand. You have this moment to kill the guy that killed your family.
Well, because Batman taught him better. He said by killing them, it's not going to take away the pain. He told him that.
I know that, but he's going to keep continuing to try to kill you.
Well, he said, I'd rather see you in jail. So, hey, he became a good person.
Yes, he did. But then it became the Riddler and Two-Face versus Batman.
Well, because he thought he killed, he shot him or something, or didn't he? Yeah, he shot him. They didn't show where, right? So you think he's dead by now, but then they realize where he was.
Yeah.
So this end contraption, I think the Riddler being as smart as he is, he screwed up on something.
What do you mean, using the same hole? I thought it was gonna be two different holes.
That's what I thought. And so having that close together in the same hole made absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be two holes. So in my head, I'm like,
who's he gonna save?
Last time I saw this movie, or he was gonna go through one and then shoot through the other. But this is the same thing that Two-Face did in The Dark Knight. The same exact thing.
And
his was better.
I agree. And I really thought it would be like something where he'd have to dive in one hole and shoot, save him. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. Well, I was looking off camera for a moment, and the whole two holes shooting off here was pretty. I just hope the listeners are giggling as well as without the context of.
But I did love Jimmy Carrey in this. I loved him the whole movie. He crushed the whole movie. But he's a game show host.
Oh,
and he even says when he talks about who's behind door number 2, he's like, in door number 2, we have Fat Man's trusted partner.
When he describes both of them, it's very funny.
Ah.
And one day he wants to see a girl naked. Maybe he'll see a girl naked without any clothes. That's what he says about Robin.
And then the Batman has a riddle for the Riddler. And he goes, ooh, I'm intrigued. And he goes, I see without seeing. And he goes, easy. You're as blind as a bat. And then Batman throws a bat arrow and it breaks the big blender. And then Riddler starts acting all weird. So is his brain always connected to that?
That didn't make sense either. You would think that.
Maybe that was the hive for where all his brain.
No, it was the hive. As long as that's alive, he's the smartest person around. But I would have thought once it's in your head, that's it. There's no connection to that thing.
Or we see a beam or something.
Right.
Well, I want to make a comment because what's her name? Debbie? Is it Mazar?
Debbie Mazar. I think it's Mazar or something. I don't know.
The Italian, the devil girl. I feel like she wasn't really into the role. She didn't really have any lines. I just had to make a comment because I remember during that scene, there's a little bit of flirtation between her and Drew Barrymore. I mean, she was cute. She played it well, but I feel like it was a little awkward for her. Anyway, I was backpedaling on my female companions. There's 3 of them in the film. Because I can't remember how they react when he breaks it.
I forgot. They're right.
They're
in the room.
They're in the room. I thought she ran off. I thought Drew Barrymore ran off.
Oh, it's because what it was when they say the naked scene about was it Robin wants to see a naked chick, and then it
Oh,
cuts
they all
directly
giggle.
to her.
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah.
all like, I just felt, I don't know, maybe it's my own feminine opinion where I felt she was like,
Why did he assume that Robin didn't see a naked girl?
oh, it's
There's
an
gotta be
insult, right?
Some girls in the circus, right?
I mean, plus, I'm sure there's magazines.
They insinuate he's gay often, right? Or not often, but at
he
least
actually,
once.
I think in some of the comics, he was gay.
Yeah, he insinuates it around that time. I thought.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't think around this time, because don't forget, he kissed that girl, like, and then in this third movie, it was something else with a girl, I thought.
I thought he said something like Batman's only companion.
Well,
wink, wink.
supposedly that the whole joke is like them two together. That's why on Saturday Night Live,
Ambiguously gay duo.
Yeah.
Wait, by the way, Saturday Night Live, I think Pete Davidson would be a really good Joker if they ever did a remake, like a Jim Carrey remake.
I can't stand him.
Just because he's so over the top. I know, I can't stand him either.
But that one episode, Pete Davidson and the Kardashians. We are like hitting pop culture.
Pete Davidson has one emotion.
It's all
the
about
same
analytics. We're doing it really well, guys.
Robin Williams would have crushed it. I would have loved
Williams would have crushed it.
He would have, yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess if we're talking for the time, I'm thinking if we did a remake.
Oh. Well, they already have a Riddler. They have what's his name? From
Pattinson.
No, isn't it from what's the movie with Kevin Spacey with the roses?
American Beauty.
American Beauty?
American Beauty. Who's the one guy? I think it's him. It's anyway. It's one of those young. It's like Dana something. Is it? I don't know. Anyway,
okay, American Beauty is like 90s, and we're going to
2000. I think.
Yeah, but I think he's playing the Riddler. I think the one guy from the movie is playing the Riddler, because you have the Penguin and the Riddler.
Is this from your inside source?
It is.
Just kidding.
Well, we actually have an inside source for the new movie.
We do. So we'll be able to.
How do you find these people? Are you just out on the corner, like asking everyone?
They come
He's
to us.
in the bathrooms at Musso and Frank's in LA.
They come to us. They know who we are.
They know who we are.
They know who you are. Okay. Sorry.
So at this point, Riddler has like this amnesia. He doesn't like know what's going on.
He also looks deformed. Doesn't he look a little deformed?
He's starting to melt.
Yeah,
he looks like a marshmallow.
He does. He looks all like mushed.
Yeah.
So besides taking all his brain cells away, it makes him melt?
I don't know. Yeah,
he looks very weird.
Yeah, it's almost like Edward when he was regular Edward, he had like a bigger head or something, because maybe he was like going back to its
or maybe because
shape.
he had so much, his brain expanded, and now it's like kind of like shriveled, like a balloon.
Wouldn't it be getting smaller? His head was like maybe.
Yeah, but it was odd.
Like it was getting bigger.
No, yeah, but you ever see when a balloon like is tied, but like it shrinks all the way to the bottom, and it's like you can squeeze it where the top is a little bigger than the bottom, and it's like a balloon.
A balloon.
All right, forget it.
So Batman's able to save both of them. He goes down. He saves Robin and Chase Meridian.
No, he saves her first. Yeah. And then Robin.
Yeah, and then he saves Robin like just in time. And then you have Batman and Two-Face. The fact that we talked about it earlier, Chase mentioned it. The fact that he just throws coins.
That was such a lame ending for him. Like, he's such a big character in the whole movie, and he died because he couldn't catch the right coin. Like, it was just, that was lame. That was a really lame ending.
And then we get the end of the movie. The very end of the movie, you have Arkham Asylum. You have Dr. Chase Meridian gets called in, and the doctor on call goes, "Oh, he said Edward Enigma says he knows who Batman is." So she walks up, opens like the little door to look at him. She goes, "Edward, so who's Batman?" He goes, "I'm Batman." And he starts flapping his wings of his straitjacket that he was able to break free from. And then the last shot of the movie is setting up, obviously, the next movie. It's Batman and Robin running in light. Boom.
You forgot. I thought, didn't Meridian say she knew who he was? It's our secret. Did I?
Did she say that to him?
They talked about it.
Was it insinuated?
Didn't he tell her?
Well, he starts to tell her, and I think she knows. Oh no, they kiss. He kisses her,
and she recognized it,
and she has this look on her face. Yeah,
right.
I think she says like "I knew" or something, or she has like this look like like an aha moment.
Well, he probably still had the Batman smell to him from the suit, and she recognized the aroma,
just like pleather.
See,
pleather. Wow,
there you go.
So that was a lot to unpack. It was a 2-hour Batman movie, and it's a 2-hour review. So let's go to our guest, Shorror. Shorror, would you recommend someone to watch this movie?
Okay, I'll be honest, but we had a little debrief.
That's what we want, honestly.
Recorded, and I was like, man, this is horrible. But I do think I have more flexibility because it is comic booky. I think I'm more partial to the Christian Bale, which I think is more cinematic than anything, how we described earlier, but and I appreciated the direction in that. But Tim Burton I love too, but he like threw, I don't know, like finger paint on the wall. It wasn't even like paint. It was just like very very kitschy. But this was its own vibe. But once you described it as comic book, I think I had a bigger appreciation for it, because otherwise it was just, it is in that 90s grunge. And especially with that, I wrote my notes say it was like a paintball scene with the glow in the dark paint.
Yeah.
your next interviewee or interview. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious to hear that, because there was that was actually the most engaging scene to me outside of the bumper car chases, as I called them. But I thought that actually had the most effort put in outside of the practical effects, which I do want to showcase, although they were kind of campy. And as Jamie said, where the hell do you put these things? They really were for the time and for the appreciation that they won't be done like that anymore. Very well done. And I think it is actually a film you should appreciate for those aspects. So it is long. I do wish they could cut 30 minutes. There is a lot of room to cut, but more girls, less boys, yada, yada, yada. That's my summary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jamie?
So I'm gonna say absolutely watch this, and I'm gonna say it for a few things. So first of all, if you've seen the newer Batmans, you have to understand where this is coming from. The new ones are darker; these are more comic booky. I feel that if you're a younger person who's never seen the new Batmans and saw this for the first time, you would enjoy the movie more. I think that because people have seen the newer Batmans and then going to this one, it's harder to enjoy as much. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you've never seen any of the Batmans, I would totally watch the original ones first and then work your way to the newer ones, so you could appreciate where it comes from comic booky to later on. This is, to me, I might even like it in a way better than Batman Returns. Like it's close. Oh, and again, only because of Jim Carrey. I'm a huge Jim Carrey fan, and I think he crushes it. And I think both movies have their faults, and they're both super enjoyable. So I would absolutely recommend it.
All right. Well, I have to agree too. I love when sequels either heighten or they just change direction. I think this one, having that vision of the comic book, I think I don't know, they nailed it. I love Val Kilmer. I wish that him and Schumacher got along more, because I think the next movie, I don't know if he could have saved that movie maybe a little bit, because like Jamie said, Clooney talks like Clooney.
Oh, it's
even
so
when he's
bad.
Batman. So
you have to watch the trailer again if you haven't seen it in a while of Batman and Robin, and it's George Clooney's sarcasm as George Clooney wearing a mask. Like it just doesn't fit. Like, all these other Batmans have like the raspy voice that Shorror did so well in the beginning of the movie. The review?
Shorror. I don't know. That's actually more of a Sean Connery voice.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely recommend it. It's a fun movie.
Totally. Well, thank you, Shorror. And now the next sequel review will be our 79th sequel, which is kind of a trivial and odd number, but it'll also be our 200th episode. Cue the fireworks, play Celebrate, and we're covering a sequel with two horror icons, Freddy vs. Jason. And I was lucky enough to interview Jason himself, Ken Kirzinger, who's a legend in the stunt world. He was also the stunt coordinator for Jason Takes Manhattan, and was actually the cook that gets killed by Jason in that diner scene. Ken has done everything from stunt driving to gun spinning, taking punches, you name it. He was even a stand-in for John Lithgow in a movie. Great stories about starting in the stunt industry in Vancouver, Canada, as soon as that started booming. So that's a great chat. And don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.